that we're going to be seeing. It's a decent France squad, but a France squad that has been hurt and hindered with injury. So it's going to be interesting to see how they perform against a better side. I mean, no disrespect to Australia, but Denmark are a better side. So this is going to be interesting to see how they do. They won their first game 4-1. I think Denmark struggled in their first game. If I remember right, they drew with Tunisia, if I'm remembering off the top of my head. So I think Denmark really do need to get a result here. They need to get something from this game. So Denmark are going to be battling hard to ensure that they can get something. So this is not going to be straightforward for France. This is not going to be straightforward for them at all. I don't know if this is the confirmed team news. Obviously, Dembele, Griezmann, Mbappe, Olivier Giroud. That's pretty much the expected forward line. Then Tchouaméni and Rabiot. Rabiot, as we said, 8.5 he scored in his first game. A fantastic performance from Rabiot. Then in defence, we're looking at Jules Koundé. We're looking at Varane coming into the side. Then we've got Upamecano, and then we got Theo Hernandez, who, of course, replaced his brother going off injured at left back. So Theo Hernandez came on, had a great game as well, 8 out of 10. Hugo Lloris didn't do so well. He scored 6.3, so not brilliant from the French goalkeeper. But all in all, I mean, look at those scores. I mean, loads of 7s, loads of 8s, Griezmann with a 9. So France really turning up in their first game. They're going to be taking on Denmark. And as we said, Denmark struggled, to be perfectly truthful. They didn't look very good in that first game. You can see, though, there's a few decent scores in there. Christian Eriksen, of course, is their main player. Kasper Schmeichel in goal is also very, very good. Højbjerg in midfield. Mæhle is on the wing as well. He's worth keeping an eye on. But really, outside of that, feels like they're lacking maybe a little bit of quality. And as we said, didn't look great in their first game. They have got to really do what the USA did last night, and that is keep it tight, frustrate France, take time out of the game, see if they can create any chances when they go forward, win a few corners, close players down. Like what United States did yesterday was brilliant. I mean, they were absolutely brilliant. I thought the USA played to a level that I must admit I did not expect them to play to. So that is what Denmark need to look to do here. So we can obviously break down both teams and have a look and all of that, and we'll do that. I do want to jump into the chat. I can tell you that the earlier game has just finished. So we have got Poland beating Saudi Arabia 2-0. And what I'll tell you about this game is that obviously Saudi Arabia, they beat Argentina, and that was a massive, massive surprise. Saudi Arabia did well here. Even though they've lost 2-0, they actually played very, very well. So I don't think that first result against Argentina was a fluke, because Saudi Arabia have just done everything but score. If we look at the statistics here, you can see Saudi Arabia 16 shots on goal, 5 on target, compared to Poland, who had only 9 shots and 3 on target. Poland have got an expected goals of 1.5, and Saudi Arabia with an expected goals of 1.7. So Saudi Arabia were expected to get more goals out of this game than Poland, but it ends Poland 2, Saudi Arabia 0. And that's football. That is football. You know, it can completely go against the run of play. It can completely go against like how the game is actually going. And Saudi Arabia, very unfortunate to not get something out of this game. Very unfortunate. Our attention is going to turn back, though, over to Group D. And as we said, Australia beating Tunisia earlier today 1-0. So Australia are currently in second position. Now we've got France in first place, and we've got Denmark in third place. Denmark need to get something from this game. I mean, if they don't, they're not out, but it does become tricky, because they are then going to have to beat Australia And Australia, as we said, getting a really good result today, beating Tunisia 1-0 and getting 3 points on the board. So if Denmark win here, Denmark actually go top of this group. Denmark would go top of the group. France would slip into second. France played Tunisia last, though, so they should be absolutely fine. I can't see France having trouble with Tunisia. So it looks like France are sitting pretty, but this, I think, on paper was always going to be France's most difficult game. So, yeah, we get to watch this, and then afterwards we're going to be watching Argentina in action. Are Argentina on the verge of going home? That's the question. Dort Knight, shout out to you. Dort Knight is putting team news in the chat. Days 316 said Poland won. Those are the official lineups. What, the ones on screen? Let's have a little look, Dam's Garden. Because sometimes, like, the way that SofaScore works is it puts up possible lineups. So, and then it changes. And I've done that before where it's changed and I've put it up and then it turns out that that's not the proper lineup either. So sometimes they can catch me out. But looks like we're pretty good here. Yeah, it looks like we're pretty good. So it looks like these are the teams. So there we go. It looks like these are the teams at the bottom. So Dort Knight, appreciate it. Mosey said Saudi Arabia should have won, to be honest. Thought this was Survivor Series, says Days 316. I think this will be a good match, said Mohammed. Rest with Andy said Mbappe is my captain. I am waiting for that hat trick. Wow, I mean, it's this. I think this will be a tricky little game, to be honest. Denmark have beaten France in the kind of recent. They know France and they've played France and they've beaten France. But obviously, this is a World Cup. Denmark coming off a frustrating draw with Tunisia. And France coming off a great win against Australia. So it's hard to know kind of how this game is going to go, to be honest. I mean, this has got... This could be another 4-1 France. Or it could also be a 0-0, a 1-1. Like, this is a really hard game to predict. But I think most people are going to be expecting France to get the victory here. But an Mbappe hat-trick might be a little bit optimistic, but I have Mbappe in my team as well, so I wouldn't be down if that's what happened. War Games is later tonight, says Mohammed. Days 316 said, I hope you're feeling ready for tonight's. Yeah, feeling good. A little bit tired. I'm still in the process of waking up. I haven't long got up. So still in the process of kind of waking up a little bit, but by the time we've got through these two games, I'll be fully awake, and then boom, we're straight into Survivor Series. That's weird, isn't it? Survivor Series tonight. It don't know why. It doesn't really feel like it. I think it's because of the World Cup. I think because the World Cup's on, I've not really had a chance to think about Survivor Series. So it's a bit weird to think that one of the bigger WWE shows is tonight. So, yeah, a little strange. But, yeah, I'll be ready by the time we get there. Paul said Australia won against Tunisia and Poland defeated Saudi Arabia. James, hello. James Chadwick, hello. Hope you're well. Tharuka, hello. Smitster said Australia, wowzers. Australia, yeah, picking up the win. Struth, mate, scoring a goal, picking up a victory. I mean, beating Tunisia, it's 3 points on the boards. But I think if there was one game that they would look at that was a potential 3 points, it was going to be that one. So, listen, what they've done is they've got themselves in a great situation now where they could be looking at qualification. They absolutely need to get a win in that last game. I think if they win that last game, then they're through Australia. I don't know if it matters about this game for them. I think if they win, they're through. But yeah, listen. If you can get to that final game and still be within a chance of getting through, I don't think you can ask for much more than that. So they've given themselves a great chance. So Smitster, shout out to you. Victor Zepida says, hello, says, all eyes on Mexico-Argentina. Yeah, all eyes on that game today. You're absolutely right. So obviously, if Argentina lose, they are out, and that is massive because they were second favourite, many people's favourites to actually win this. Obviously, we're looking at the career of Messi. The thing is, though, you're talking about one of the great teams in the world, sort of embarrassing themselves on this stage. I mean, look, to lose at the World Cup, you can't really say that's embarrassing, but it is arguably the biggest upset in World Cup history. It went all around the world. You've got to think that the people in Argentina are really hurting because football is massive there. It's their number one sport. It's like a religion, as it is all over South America. They want to respond. They need to respond. I expect them to respond. I sort of would not want to be Mexico today, to be honest. This could be quite the comeback for Argentina. I don't think anyone is expecting Argentina to lose today. I don't think anyone's expecting Argentina to not get a few goals today. But there is that what if. And Mexico are not a terrible team. They're not as good as they used to be Mexico. They're, like, when you think of Mexico of old, you think of a team that you really wouldn't want to play. Very skillful and hard to beat and capable of getting results against bigger teams. But this crop of Mexican players don't really match up to that stereotype. And I think it's going to be a win for Argentina. But look, who knows? I mean, really, who knows? And Mexico could just be coming to park the bus, frustrate, get a point, and get out of there. That might be what they're looking to do. And so they'll keep it tight. They'll keep it frustrating. And I can't wait for the game. I mean, it's a massive game. It's one of the biggest games of the World Cup so far. I mean, even Argentina, Mexico, you're talking about two big teams, two proud footballing nations. So it should be a great game. But the stakes have just gone through the roof, haven't they, after that Saudi Arabia result? So, Victor, you're absolutely right. All eyes on Argentina, Mexico today. Kian said if Argentina beat Mexico and Poland beat Saudi, then Saudi would go through to the final 16, says Kian. Saudi were definitely the better team, said James. Kian saying the same. Ashia said, where are you watching this? I'm watching this in England. I'm watching it at home. I've just got it on TV. I'm really looking forward to a bit of a chilled out day, actually, because obviously yesterday was a little stressful, what we're watching England. That's my team. And so it's a little bit stressful at times, but, got the point. We move on. That was the last game that we watched. And now, as we said, we can kind of sit back, take a breath. And watch the other teams battling to get points, battling to get out of their groups. And as we've seen, it is far from straightforward. I thought Ochoa was older than 37. He loves the World Cup, says Dort Knight. One of the first non-British places football went to was South America. First team founded was by the Scots, says Del Cassian. That's some nice knowledge right there. Shout out to you, Del Cassian. If Argentina wins the next two games, they would be first, said the game. Yeah, good point. I mean, a lot of people are, I think, writing Argentina off a little bit too quickly. The thing with the Euros World Cup, we've seen it before. Teams can lose that first game and then bounce back and still qualify. Argentina have still got their destiny in their own hands. If they win their next two games, they're through. I don't know if they would be first. They might be. So either way, they would still go through. That's all they're really focused on, I would imagine, after that loss. I don't think a team like Argentina necessarily are too worried about anyone other than, I don't know, perhaps Brazil. Maybe they'll have a little look at Spain going, don't really fancy that, but whatever. They've got the kind of players in their side where it just doesn't really matter who they play there. They're going to go in with full of confidence. And I'm sure they'll go into this with full of confidence, but with that little extra fire as well. So, yeah, it's the big game today. It's one of the biggest games of the World Cup so far. I don't know about you, but I'm keeping everything crossed that Argentina lose. I would love for them to go out. I know that there's a lot of Messi fans obviously a lot of Argentina fans that are obviously not going to be hoping for that. But as an England fan, if we can get rid of one of the favourites in this early stage, that's only better for England and only better for USA and only better for Canada and only better for whatever teams are battling to try and get through. To not have to worry about Messi, Di Maria, not have to worry about like these players, Martinez, and get them gone. Like, yeah, I'm hoping. I'm basically Mexican today. I'm basically Mexican. Imagine Mbappe and Dembele running at you, said Dortnights. Terrifying. USA Today, Bono's UK wife. Kate Beckinsale, Miss Eyes. Today, Love Rumble. Christopher, did you just smack the keyboard and just hope for the best? Is that what you've done? Because I don't understand your message. But I hope you enjoy the game all the same. Today's remaining World Cup games are on FS1. Fox has got Michigan against Ohio State. There you go, US fans, if you're looking for the game. Easy99 said, in Mexico's mentality, if Saudi Arabia can win against Argentina with Messi on it, why couldn't Mexico beat Argentina? Their mentality is the most important for the team, not just physical. Yeah, you've got to go in hoping and expecting, maybe not expecting, but, hoping that you can get something from the game. Mexico are definitely not here to make up numbers. Like, Mexico are a decent team as well. But I just think the comeback from Argentina is, dare I say, inevitable. I just think that Argentina are going to... I will be shocked. If Argentina lose today, I will be stunned. If Argentina lose today, I will be as shocked as when they lost against Saudi Arabia, because today they've got to respond. Like, they are going into this knowing that they are on the verge of going out of the World Cup, and to lose to Saudi Arabia was shocking because no one expected it. But today, if they lose to Mexico, knowing that their survival in this tournament is at stake, you have to think that each player is going to give everything. They're going to play as if this is their World Cup final, aren't they? They're going to give absolutely everything for this. So I'm looking forward to the game. We're just seeing Kasper Schmeichel having a word with his dads. Kasper Schmeichel and his son just sharing a few words on the touchline there. That was nice. Obviously, Peter Schmeichel, one of the greatest goalkeepers of all time, used to be in goal for Denmark. His son now plays as goalkeeper for Denmark, Kasper Schmeichel. He's a great goalkeeper as well, Kasper Schmeichel. So, I suppose I wonder if Denmark are looking at Kasper Schmeichel's kids, hoping that he's got a son that's going to come through and be a great goalkeeper as well, because it seems to be in their blood. So, cool. That was a nice moment. Right. Souness isn't worried about France. If he was, Southgate is talking about at the minute. Mbappe would tear us apart, says Dortnight. England, USA by numbers. Waffle House, USA 2, 100. England 0. Aubrey Edwards, shout out to you. Dancing on wrestling's grave. We were dry against USA. Hopefully we bounce back against the Welsh, says LFCCJ1. Kian said, if Saudi make the top 16, do you think they could be a dark horse? I don't know what we mean by dark horse. I mean, do I think they could go on to win the World Cup? I don't. I don't. I think that, it could happen because I think back immediately to Greece in 2004, and that was, that's got to be one of the biggest upsets in football history, which actually doesn't get spoken about enough. Greece won the European Championships. It's still weird to say, but they won the European Championships. They were never a great team before, and they were not a great team after. But for one tournament, they seemed to get possessed, and they managed to make it through to the final, and they won the Euros. I don't know if there's documentaries on it. I have to think there are. And to be honest, I should and will try and watch one of those documentaries, because even I, all these years later, I'm still bemused and perplexed by it. I still can't get my head around how no one was able to beat them. So, if Saudi Arabia make it through, could they do a Greece? Sure. I mean, they've probably got the second most support of any country there outside of Qatar. So, they are, and I would imagine the Qatari fans might, jump on to Saudi Arabia, because I think any team from that region doing well will give all teams from that region a lift. So they will have passionate support. They beat Argentina. They looked very good against Poland. I think that I can't say they'll be a dark horse to win the World Cup, but could they win in the next round? Well, do you know what? Let's have a look and see who their next round opponents would be. Let's say they finish. Let's have a look. Here's the bracket. So where is Saudi Arabia? Saudi Arabia are in Group C. So, God, it's hard to know. Saudi Arabia lost today. So let's say chances are they finish second. Well, let's do both, shall we? If they top the group, so if winner of C will play runner-up of D. So if Saudi Arabia finish first in the group, they will likely play, don't know, Denmark or Australia by the looks of it. Denmark or Australia, I would say. So if they top the group, they'll face Denmark or Australia. Could Saudi Arabia come through that? Yes, but they need to top the group. If they finish second, I think I'm right in saying if they finish second, they play France. I don't see Saudi Arabia getting past France. I don't see Saudi Arabia doing that. But then no one saw Saudi Arabia getting past Argentina, did they? So that was quite the surprise. But I can't see them getting past France, to be honest. So I don't know. I mean, are things starting to shape up a little bit now? Are we starting to get a bit of an idea? I still don't know. I feel like a lot of the groups are still quite wide open, to be honest. But Saudi Arabia, definitely a team that could get through to the next round. But it's going to be very important as to whether they finish first or second. I think absolutely you need to avoid France. I'm not feeling oozy today. Roman is peeved at Sammy, said Days. Kian said, you won't believe what just happened. I've just been to a war zone with my cousin. What's war zone? I don't know what war zone is. You'll have to let me know what is war zone. But Kian, shout out to you. I don't know what that is. Greece won the European Championships. Also, Denmark were on a beach and got called to play in the European Championships. They replaced the team and won the trophy. Anything can happen. LT says, keep an eye on Ecuador. France, Argentina, and Survivor Series. It could be a good Saturday, says Watson. I hope the streams go well. Well, I mean, look, we're just going to have some fun, and I think there's no way we're not going to have fun, to be honest. We get to watch a very impressive France side, but this is going to be a challenge, so this will be an interesting game. I'm expecting it to be a close game, so we've got this up first, and then, of course, straight after Argentina, Mexico, as we've been talking about, and then, yes, about an hour after that, Survivor Series. Kian said, interestingly enough, we could lose Germany tomorrow if Spain beat them. Yes, that one, to be honest, looks like it's happening. I would be shocked if Germany can get something against Spain. That Spain that won 7-0 against Costa Rica looked so good that them taking on Germany now. Yeah, that's going to be very interesting. In Greece, 04 Greece had a great team unity and it outshined all others great individuals. Yeah, very true. It's still surprising, though, that even with that, because you'd have to think there's been other teams over the years that have had great team unity. There's, look at Denmark, for example. Their team unity at the Euros was incredible. They almost got to the final, in all fairness, with that. But Denmark have got a few players as well. They've got Eriksen. Well, they didn't, did they, to be honest? They didn't have Eriksen, but they've still got some decent players. Christensen at the back, Kasper Schmeichel in goal. Mailer's not a bad player. Højbjerg's not a bad player. So they've still got a few players. But Greece, I mean, honestly, I can't think of I couldn't tell you a single name. Demopoulos kind of comes to mind, and I might have just made that up. But I can't think of a single name. I can't think of a single player that came out of that Greece team. I mean, it's got to be one of the greatest adverts for working as a team than anything else. But even so, it's just so surprising that no team was able to break them down and beat them. It's just shocking. As I said, I will watch a documentary on it because I don't know. It's suppose in a way it's surprising that teams have not took lessons from that. I don't know. Like it's surprising that teams have. Maybe they have though. Perhaps that changed football. I didn't know. I don't know. I'll have to watch some on it. Sometimes things just click perfectly at the right time, says James. I hope Japan goes through, says Aubrey Edwards, dancing on wrestling's grave. Frustrating defeat against Poland. We played better, but luck wasn't on our side, says Waleed. Time to move on and hope for the best against Mexico. Yeah, big game. I mean, you've certainly got a lot of support, Saudi Arabia, and you've certainly not let yourselves down. I don't think there's much really that could have been done against Poland. I suppose you could have finished your chances, but you were the better team. It's as simple as that. You were the better team. So I think Saudi Arabia definitely will take encouragement from that. But yeah, this World Cup continues to provide its twists and turns. This is why I'm not so down on last night's result for England, because I agree with Gareth Southgate that, you know, we're seeing lots of shock results. I mean, I think Denmark drew with Tunisia, which was not expected. Obviously, Germany lost to Japan, which was unexpected. Argentina losing to Saudi Arabia, of course, wasn't expected. So we're seeing some results in the group stages that just show that this is not straightforward. And, you know, USA are a decent side. I did expect England to win. I expected them to win by a goal or two. I think I predicted 2-1. You know, England's defence is normally a bit ropey, but we're very good up front. So I expected us to just edge USA 2-1, 3-1 if things were going well. But it was maintained at 0-0. Neither side broke through, and I can sort of understand where Gareth Southgate's coming from with saying, like, you know, he sees it as a real positive. It's another point on the board, and you know, it's all in our hands. We've still got the opportunity to top the group. I mean, we're going into that final game not only with qualification, very realistic, but also with the potential to top the group still. So it's all still in England's hands. England, I think there'll be a bit of a response from England. I think they hopefully will look at that performance and they'll find a response. What it means, though, is that England needs something against Wales. And don't forget, Wales needs something against England. So this is what makes the final round of group games very exciting, because, you know, Wales are going to have to come at England because they need to win this match. So they have to score. They cannot. 0-0 is of no benefit to Wales whatsoever. A draw is of no benefit to Wales. So, you know, that game is going to be very interesting because Wales are going to come at England, and England are going to enjoy that, to be honest. England are going to enjoy that. I wonder if Wales's game plan will be to keep it tight in the first half and then take the game from there, because you can't win a game in the first half. And so I wonder if Wales will keep it tight, try to get to half-time 0-0, try and do the exact same things that USA did, like close England down, press England players, keep it compact. I could see them doing that. And then in the second half, you know, just try and create a few chances, keep it tight still, just see if they can get the game 1-0, something along those lines. I actually don't know if Wales need a certain amount of goals. I don't know if they need a certain amount of goals. I don't think they do. I think if they win, that should be good enough. I think as long as they win, they should go through. But that final game is going to be absolutely fascinating. It's going to be absolutely fascinating. So, yeah, flat performance by England, but, I mean, one that I wouldn't worry too much about. I wouldn't worry too much about it. The only thing that does concern me is England just didn't seem to have the legs. And I don't know, maybe if they're being a bit overtrained or something. I don't know. Like, is the heat, is there something in the fact that you shouldn't play the same team twice in this kind of tournament? Should it be that because England have got a squad, we should look to rotate? You know, if we'd have started with some different players, for example. Would those players have looked fresh, more lively? Could we then have brought on some people in the second half, like Saka, like Sterling? If he'd have done that, though, and it hadn't have worked, then, of course, he would have been criticised for that. So it's kind of difficult, isn't it? A lot of people wanted to see Foden, for example. If he'd have started with Foden and it hadn't worked, then people would have said you should have kept the same team. So I do feel for him a bit, but the big thing that he's being beaten with at the moment is the fact he didn't bring Foden on at all, which I can understand. I can understand that being a frustration for people. That's one that definitely does seem to be an oversight. But in the grand scheme of things, look, we got the point. We're on 4 points. It's still in our hands. In regards to USA, they know that they need to get a win over Iran. That's 2 draws for the USA now. They know that they have got to get 3 points on the board. I think a draw for them is no good either. So USA have got to get 3 points. That's going to be tricky, to be honest, because Iran showed against Wales that they're a decent team. But you can get at Iran as well, But that USA side, I mean, really well organised. Both of those final games are going to be absolutely fascinating. To be honest, I think it's so hard to say. I feel like England's going through. Obviously, we just don't know if that's going to be first or second at the moment. But then it's a case of who's going to go through with them, because Iran are right in the conversation. They're right in the conversation. In fact, what happens if England win and Iran draw? That's something that would be interesting to look at. Let's have a little look. If England are victorious, then they go through as group leaders. If Iran draw, they go through as second. So a draw for the USA is no good whatsoever. A draw for the USA is no good. USA have got to get 3 points. USA have got to get 3 points. So USA need 3 points. Wales need 3 points. England need 3 points, really, to be honest. England could do with the win, because if Iran beat USA and England only draw, then Iran go through as the winners of this group. They would go through on 6 points. England would go through on 5. So England really could do with the 3 points as well, to be honest. But it's not as desperate for England. It's not as desperate. I think a draw would be enough for England to go through. So that's Group B is very tasty. There's lots of different ways that can play out, but it is very, very tasty. France-Denmark is the first match between 2 European nations at this World Cup, says the game. That's interesting. Kian said, Wales got England next, but I don't see Wales going through, says Kian. Well, Wales will be tricky. I mean, they'll be banged up for this. I must admit, as soon as we found out that Wales were in this group, I did think to myself, like, well, that's going to be a bit of a problem, because Wales are a decent team. They're ranked within the top 20. And they have got players that can hurt you. They are a team that's normally well organised, well structured, and they always find that extra gear against England. The only thing I would say that kind of goes in England's favour is that Wales need to get a win. Wales need to win. So a draw for Wales is no good. So they cannot for 90 minutes sit back and just, take the draw. They can't do that. They're going to have to come forward. And if they come forward, England can then look to counter them. Maybe England will look to have some real pace up front and see if we can find a way of, allowing Wales to have the ball and come onto us, win the ball, and then try and counter them quickly and see if we get any joy that way. It's going to, again, the tactics are going to be really interesting to see how Southgate sets it up. I wouldn't be surprised if there were some changes from the games we've seen before. So I could see us playing 3 at the back against Wales, says James. Wales needs to win 4-0 against England. They need to win. Yeah, I do remember the 4-0 thing, but I don't know what that was for. I think that was for England to not go through. I don't think they need to win 4-0 for Wales to go through. I think it's if let's have a look. Let's go back here. So if Wales win, they get onto 4 points. If Iran and USA draw, then they will be... So if Wales win, they will be on 4 points. And let's say they win 1-0, okay? So if Wales win 1-0, they are on -1 goal difference, and they go on to 4 points. If Iran and USA draw, then they go on to 4 points for Iran and 3 points for USA. Now, Iran would be on 4 points, but their goal difference would be -2, whereas Wales would be on 4 points, and their goal difference, if they win 1-0, would be -1. So Wales would go through, because I believe the first thing that breaks teams, if they're on the same points, is goal difference. And at the moment, Iran's goal difference is -2, and Wales' goal difference is -2. So if Wales beat England 1-0, as long as the other game is a draw, then Wales and England should go through. So if Wales win 1-0 and Iran-USA is a draw, Wales and England should go through. That looks right to me. Because goal difference is how many goals you score, take away how many goals you conceded. So if it's a draw, you could have scored 3, but you also conceded 3. So your goal difference won't change. Your goal difference is 0 for that game because you scored 3, but you conceded 3. So your goal difference is 0. So that means that their current goal difference of -2 would not change. And if Wales win, they get 3 points. If USA draw, they get 1 point. So USA would be on 3, Wales would be on 4, so they would beat USA. If that happens, so if Iran and USA draw and England lose, I think England would still top the group, you know. Isn't that mental? If Iran and USA draw and Wales win 1-0, even 2-0, I think because of the goal difference, England should go through on goal difference. Because according to this that's here, it says in the event that 2 or more teams finish with an equal number of points, the following tiebreakers are: number 1, goal difference. So I think they look at that first. I think goal difference is what they look at first. Then it's goals scored, the amount of goals you scored. And then it's your head-to-head record against the team that you're tied with. Like, how did you do with that team? Obviously, head-to-head is not a great thing to go to because there's a chance you might have drawn your match with them. So, like, that's been left last, I think. So, goal difference, I think, is what they are looking at. Complicated, I know, but it'll make sense by the time we get to next week. France, Denmark. Let's go back there. Boom. Pickford, Trent, Stones, Maguire, Shaw, Rice, Bellingham, Maddison. Yeah, we haven't seen any of Maddison, have we? I mean, he is quite an exciting player to have in reserve, Maddison. I wonder if he would have come on. Against USA. Maddison. That could have been interesting. I think USA will win because we held England to 0-0 and Iran lost 6-2. I know Iran beat Wales, but we would have beaten Wales if we did the same thing we did to England in the second half, said Mosley, the wrestling god. Yeah, I think you can definitely go in with confidence. I don't think you should go in thinking, oh, that's it, we're out. I definitely don't think you should be going with that mentality at all. It's going to be a tricky game, but you've shown that you can, hold your own against both, as you said, Wales and England. Very unfortunate to have 2 draws there, but now you play Iran, and on paper, Iran should be the easiest of the 3 teams. So, yeah, I think you can go in with confidence, definitely. Dodger Boy said, I've got a feeling that Denmark might sneak this 2-1 with a late goal. Yeah, well, we will have a look at the breakdowns of the teams. I do really enjoy doing that, and hopefully some of you out there find that interesting as well, because I think it's really shown us some stuff and it's really taught us some stuff. So we will have a read of that in a second. England's 6 goals in the first game pretty much ensured that they would go through, says Alan. Yeah, I mean, obviously we can't rest on that, and that's why the point last night was... it's very hard to look at it as a good point as an England fan, because I think that the level of performance was concerning, but it's a point at the end of the day. We're on 4 points. I remember at the Euros, we got to the final of the Euros, and that's one of the greatest tournaments I've ever seen England be a part of. I've watched England my whole life, and last summer when we got to the final of the Euros, and we streamed it on the channel as well. We actually did that on this channel, and we went all the way to the final, and we streamed the final. It's one of the it's one of the best journeys, one of the best experiences of my life, watching England do that. And in their second game, they drew 0-0 in the group stage to Scotland. So we beat Croatia 1-0. In the second game, we drew 0-0. The country was really down. And I remember, people being really, disappointed with that result. And then we came back and we won our last game 1-0. And then boom, as he said, as soon as you get out the group, it's a different kettle of fish. It becomes a different tournament. It really does, because all of a sudden then there's nothing to worry about. There's no maths that are needed. There's no, okay, well, we need 3 points. We need this many goals. We need to just make sure we don't concede. There's none of that. It just becomes you've got to beat the team in front of you. You've got 90 minutes, 120 minutes if you need them. Penalties, if you need them. It's you or them. It's do or die. One of you goes through, one of you goes home. And it does become a bit different tournament. So, to be honest, just get out the group. Ideally first for England, of course, because it seems like they go on to a slightly easier side. But there doesn't look too much in it. If you go the one side, it looks like we're going to play, say, Netherlands next. Which, to be honest, they don't look much better than Ecuador or Senegal. So, we'd play Netherlands. I think after that, I don't know who we would get after that. In fact, let's have a quick look at that. Let's have a look. If we do go, who do you play if you go that side? So, if you finish second in Group B, you go and play the runners if you go second, you play the winners of Group A. So, that means that it's probably going to be Netherlands. That game, having seen Netherlands twice, does not concern me as much as it did before the World Cup. Right, so let's say you get through that. Then you play the winners of either the winner of C or the runner-up of D. Now, the runner-up of D is probably going to be Denmark or Australia. Okay. The winner of C is probably going to be Argentina, I would imagine, but we don't know for certain at the moment. Argentina might go home. So, in actual fact, it's starting to look like, even if you finish second, you got Netherlands, which isn't that scary. And then either, I don't know if Argentina are going to win the group. Argentina might no longer be a problem when you go that side of the draw. It might be Denmark. It might be Poland. It might be Saudi Arabia. But there's no guarantee that it's going to be Argentina that top their group anymore. So all of a sudden, that path doesn't quite look as scary. Playing Netherlands is not going to be brilliant, but they have not looked great. And then, you've got, as we said, the winner of C out. So who wins C? Argentina, Saudi Arabia, Mexico, or Poland? It's all up for grabs at the moment. And the runner-up of D, which looks to be either Denmark or Australia. So one of those teams is who you get in the quarterfinals. Semi-final looks probably like that's when you're going to be hitting a Spain or a Brazil. That's when you're going to be hitting one of those teams. But honestly, once you get through to a semi-final, can you really expect to avoid a big team? I think once you get to the semi-final and to the final, there's no escaping it. Either side, I don't think there's really any escaping it. So, I don't know, with the Argentina result being what it was, I don't know that either side is quite as scary as it looked before. So, I think, to be honest, just get through. Just qualify. Just get through. Alan said, loving the analysis and coverage. Shout out to you, Alan. I'm pleased you are enjoying the streams. It was a little gamble doing it on this channel because obviously this is the main channel. It's a wrestling kind of combat channel, if you will, with UFC, boxing, that's very much what I look at. Like predominantly WWE, but then love UFC, love boxing, want to do that as well. And so doing football doesn't really fit, if I'm being perfectly honest. And I'm fully aware of that, but it's the World Cup. Do you know what I mean? I think we can all accept that this is an exception and it won't be around for another 4 years. Yeah, it's just an exception. So yeah, love it. Love it, love it, love it. I'm glad you're enjoying it as well. I mean, we're a good chunk into it now, you know. We're a good chunk into it. I know it's has only been like around a week or so, but this is not the longest World Cup. This is, in fact, did it just say when the final is? The final is the 18th of December. But then, you know, the semi-finals are the 13th and the 14th. The quarterfinals are the 9th and the 10th. I mean, we're sat here, it's the 26th. Do you know what I mean? It's the 26th. I mean, we're a couple of weeks away from like the quarterfinal stage. So obviously we've got to work our way through these second round of games. Then we've got the third round of games. Then there is a little break. Not much of a break, but a little break. I think there's a break of a few days. Yeah, I mean, literally just, oh God, actually, do you know what? Not even that. I thought there was a break of a few days. There isn't. I'm just looking here in Group H. Their final round of games is on the December 2nd. December 2nd, Group H. And then December 3rd, that's when we've got two games on December 3rd. So there is no break between the games. Normally with a World Cup, you get a day or two where there's no games. And, you know, the teams that have come out of the group, they just have that, you know, couple of days just to recover. I suppose because this is a condensed World Cup because of when it's being played, that doesn't exist. So, yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. So, yeah, it doesn't stop them. We go literally every day. Looks like we've got stuff. So we do the third. We do where's the fourth? There's the fourth, fifth, sixth. Nothing on the 7th or 8th. So as soon as we're done with the round of 16, then there is a couple of days. There's nothing on the 7th or 8th. Then on December 9th, we've got a couple of games, which are the quarterfinals. December 10th is the quarterfinals. Then there's nothing on the 11th or the 12th. Then we've got the semi-final on the 13th, semi-final on the 14th. Then obviously nothing until the final on the 18th. So there are a few days once we get to the knockout stages. But yeah, it's pretty much solid all the way till December 6th. So we have got games happening all the way till December 6th. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have a look at the breakdown for France. I don't think we looked at this before, so let's see what it says. So, 4th in the world rankings, this is a squad in flux, not unlike the one that showed promise in 2014. France come into this tournament as the defending champions and one of the deepest pools of talent from which to pick. Didier Deschamps said in announcing his squad, he will play a 4-3-1-2, changing from the 3-4-1-2 that he used at the Euros. The team's recent results have been decidedly less than impressive, with 1 win in 6 competitive matches, but at least Nations League relegation was avoided. The loss of Pogba and Kante through injury means the midfield that triumphed in Russia 2018 will have completely changed. Real Madrid's Tchouaméni will play a holding role, while Rabiot partnering either Guendouzi or Fofana. Fofana and Guendouzi are the progressive options, but Rabiot will have the edge given his experience. Even as Deschamps averred his confidence in youth after France's win over Austria, from the moment I choose players, it means I trust them. If they're selected, they have everything necessary to play at this level. Elsewhere, Hugo Lloris is 35, but still a top professional and should become France's record appearance holder, provided they reach the last 16. In defence, they have injuries. They could go from not being included to France's opener. Up front, you've guessed it, Deschamps has had more bad luck with Benzema and Nkunku both ruled out before the tournament. Marcus Thuram, Muani have been called up as replacements, and the reigning world champions still have Mbappe, Griezmann, Coman, Dembele, Giroud to turn to. Not bad, but at some point these injuries will have an impact. Expect France to get out the group, but how far they go is now difficult to guess. Damning. They are still a lot of people's favourites, but it is true. The sheer amount of injuries they've had has been very, very unfortunate for them. Let's have a look at Denmark. So Denmark are well organised. They defend well as a unit, and they are able to change formation and tactics during the game. Some of the forwards are out of form, and goals could be a problem. A lot, as always, will depend on Christian Eriksen. Let's have a quick read. The plan. Denmark have continued on the same path that took them to the semi-finals of the European Championships in 2021. And the only real worry is the long search for a centre forward. They should play a 4-3-3. Denmark might have lost twice to Croatia in the Nations League, but they beat France twice. In Paris, they won 2-1 against a full-strength French team with a couple of late goals. And in the final game, they beat them 2-0 in Copenhagen. We have a fantastic squad. We're full of confidence. We know what our players can do, said Kasper Schmeichel. When we play France at the World Cup, it will be a different match. There's Mbappe, all smiles as he's waiting to come out. Christian Eriksen, of course, who had a cardiac arrest at Parken during Euro 2020, was magnificent against France, leading Mikael Damsgaard to say, "We have great self-confidence. We will make some noise. We aim to go far and hopefully win the whole damn thing." Denmark topped their qualifying group 4 points ahead of Scotland, winning 9 of their 10 games with a goal difference of plus 27. So there we go. That is the breakdown for both teams. This is not going to be straightforward for France. Not going to be straightforward for them at all. This could be a draw. This really could be a draw. Both of the flags are out there on the pitch. Pyro shooting out of that inflatable World Cup trophy. And we are waiting for both teams to emerge. They are both in the tunnel. Why are England fans so reactive? They beat Iran. They're winning the World Cup. They lose to US Southgate out. The British fans have got 2 chants, right? I saw someone say this on Twitter. There's only 2 chants that British fans know, and that is you're getting sacked in the morning and it's coming home, right? So if it doesn't fall into one of them categories, right? If it's in the middle somewhere, we can't deal with that. We don't know how to deal with that. Like, we don't have a chant for that. We don't have a chant for that was okay, I suppose. That was okay. That was all right. It will do for now. We don't have those chants. We have you're getting sacked in the morning. We've got, like, one of them. We've got it's coming home. We're either on top of the world or we're down in the gutter, and we've got no chant for in the middle. It's either fantastic or it's a disaster. Anything that's in the middle, anything that's like, okay, it is what it is. Would have liked better, but it's not a disaster. We can't deal with that. Can't deal with that. We don't have to deal with that. So yeah, it's going to be a completely different story by the time we play Wales. By the time we play Wales, if England qualify and go through and top the group, well, it's coming home. It's coming home. We'll go back to it. It's coming home again. So yeah, it is true. Do you know what I think it is, to be honest? I think it's desperation. England fans, this is our national sport, right? It's Premier League is the biggest league in the world, right? Maybe. I don't know. Now I've said that, I feel like it is, but I'm not 100%. But it's one of the biggest leagues in the world. And so like our national team success is very important to us. It really matters. So if you don't, if it's any less than perfect, if it's any less than fantastic, if it's any less than like we're gonna win the World Cup, it is a disaster. It hurts because we've been starved of success. The last time England won a trophy that meant something was 1966. They won a tournament called Le Tournoi in 98, I believe, where they got a little trophy, but there was only 4 teams in it, and it was just a little warm-up for the World Cup. It was just a little thing, right? Not important. Never gets spoke about. Like, no one cares, right? Didn't matter. Didn't mean anything. But yeah, it was the World Cup 66. So it's everything or nothing when it comes to the national team. And I can understand it. I can understand it. It's very hard to deal with your emotions when you're drunk. Do you know what I mean? As well, you got to factor that in. When you've had a few beers, yeah, and you want to be like, have something to cheer about, and then you get like that performance, which was not a great performance at all from England. Then like, it's very hard to deal with your emotions, process your emotions when you've had, 8 beers, for example. So Southgate out is quite easy to... I'd imagine it's saved on a lot of people's phones as well. There's probably a lot of England fans that have got the word Southgate out saved in their phone. They only have to copy and paste it. So it's quite an easy thing to do when you've had a few beers. Did you see Rampage? No, I didn't. Claudio beat Jericho for the Ring of Honor title. Claudio has to beat Jericho for the Ring of Honor title or join Jericho Appreciation Society. Bum, bum, bum. Right, kickoff coming up next. Martin said the Premier League is certainly the best package league in the world, but I'm not sure it's the best league in the world. If Sammy takes the pin loss at War Games, does this start the build of him getting kicked out? I think so, yes. I think so. Rage Kid said, we were average. We were average. That was fine, I suppose. That was fine, I suppose. We still might qualify. We still might qualify if we're lucky. Yeah, it's just hard, isn't it? We're average. All the football YouTubers are saying Southgate out, says Spencer. I'm glad the message was corrected. Right, we are on the verge of starting in 2 minutes' time. 2 minutes' time. I mean, to be honest, when it comes to Southgate, I'm really split because I am not Southgate out. I really like Southgate, and I think what he's done. People have got short memories, man. People have got short memories. Some people need to go back and watch us crash out of the World Cup at the group stages, like we've done plenty of times, or watch England lose to Iceland in the round of 16. Like all these conversations of like saying that, well, we should be beating these types of teams and everything. Well, I mean, that's just not football, is it? It shocks me how like a lot of people can watch the Premier League and can see some of the shocking results we get on a weekly basis in the Premier League. We've seen tons. I mean, just so many. Anyone can beat anyone, can't they, in the Premier League? And it's just, it's one of those where it's football. But yet, for some reason, when we get to the international stage, those rules don't apply for some reason. Apparently, that's not the rule. Like, it should be that England are smashing everyone, and I don't know what that's based on. I don't know why people think England should be smashing everyone. Yeah, they've got a great, crop of players, but, so do Man City. They don't win every game. They slip up against smaller teams. Look at Liverpool and the season Liverpool have had and their struggles this season. Again, great team, but, they have struggles as well. So I personally find the criticism that Southgate has is unfair. I think he's not a sexy manager. I think he's not one of those cool foreign managers. And I think like people just, beat him with a stick. He got a great squad selection for England, and still people were moaning because he didn't pick Ivan Toney. Do you know what I mean? Like, the guy, honestly, I've got to the point where I just think the guy can't win. I just got to the point where I just don't think Southgate can do anything right for some people. So I don't worry about like Southgate out. What I would say though is that I do wonder whether he should call it quits after this, because he has led England to 2 World Cups and a European Championship, and you do think, well, if we were gonna win, would it have happened by now? You know, how much patience do you have in regards to not winning it, for example? I think we've made great improvements under Southgate, and I thank him for what he's done. And if he sticks around, it wouldn't be the end of the world. But I do look at it and just wonder, like, well, you know, you've got Pochettino out there. You've got Thomas Tuchel out there. You've got some fantastic managers that I think could do a great job for England. Could they win the World Cup with England? I mean, honestly, who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Could they do better than Southgate? I don't know. I feel like they could come in and, like, tactically, I think they would be better. But I think there's so much in the team unity. I think team unity, we just, you know, we spoke about it with Greece and how important, like, being a great team is and working together. And that is something that I don't think anyone can deny Southgate has smashed. You know, the seeing the players and how much they enjoy being in each other's company. It doesn't matter if you play for Man United or Liverpool or Chelsea. It just, everyone gets on. And I give Southgate massive credit for that. And I think that has really helped us at times. And, you know, if Poch comes in or if Tuchel comes in, would that go out the window? Because I think that would be a real shame if it did. I think that would be a real shame and might even represent a step backwards. So, I don't know. It's a gamble, innit? It's a gamble. No certainties when it comes to football. We are up and running with this game, though. And as we said, I think this is going to be a tricky game for France. I really do. I think that this could be a draw. Obviously, I don't know that it's going to be a draw, but it could be a draw. I also need to know if my thing is lined up correctly. I don't think it is. Let's fix that. Fun fact, Sam Allardyce is England manager, and he has 100% win rate. Sam Allardyce. All the drama. I mean, Southgate came in after that, didn't he? After that drama. Ah, there we go. There we go. Right. So we're up and running. We've got a few numbers on screen, and the ball is with Denmark in France's half. Goes back across into their half. Game just settling down at the moment. Ball being played in midfield, and it goes back to the Danish defence. So Denmark are wearing white shirts and red shorts. France are wearing blue shirts and white shorts. It's being played into the middle. Goes over down the left-hand side. Mbappe. And loses the ball. It's being played forward into Denmark. Comes over to the left-hand side. Damsgaard. Nice switch of play. Here's Denmark. Denmark coming forward into the... Oh, that's a shame. Trying to play the ball forward. It just got caught underneath the feet of Cornelius. And he couldn't quite get his feet sorted and ends up going through to Hugo Lloris. So 4 minutes gone. No opportunity for either side. But if he'd have just been able to control that, that could have been interesting. Who is ready for Survivor Series, said Flix Bloney. Should be good. Should be good. I think the only downside with Survivor Series is the fact that there's no new champions or no new champion in regards to, like, Bianca. We know she will still be champ on Monday. Roman, we know he's going to be champ on Monday. So you kind of lose that, don't you? I mean, like, it's not like we're going into this with who's going to be, like, could they do it? Could we get a new Universal Champion? Like, that part of it has been removed. Which, I don't know. I don't know that that's a big problem, but Definitely feels like a big Roman title match is potentially missing. But I do love the bloodline being together. I do love the bloodline being together. What if they said if Roman is pinned in this match, he loses the title? What if they'd have found a way of putting that stipulation in? That could have been fun. If someone else in the match is pinned or submitted, then bloodline lose. But if it's Roman that is pinned or submitted, not only do the bloodline lose, Roman loses his championships. And then you would still have that added drama, wouldn't you? And you could have done the same with Bianca as well. Ball going back into Denmark's half, played over to the right-hand side. Denmark have enjoyed a bit of the ball, you know. I think people want Southgate out because they don't like his style. I think he's not getting the best out of the players to pick from in years, says Mouldy. Trini said, we could get a new US champ. That's one title on the line. And also Ronda as well. Here's Denmark played into the centre. No one there. So this, at the moment, this game has been really in the centre of the park. There's been a couple of times where Denmark have looked the better at the moment. Denmark are definitely pressing and closing down. And there's been a couple of times where they've tried to get the ball through to their forward players. But no joy. Here's France. Ball coming over to that left-hand side. Mbappe. Ball coming back along that France defence. There we go. Down the line, Dembele playing the ball back. So France have just got it in their own half, passing it from side to side. Comes over to that left-hand side as well. We're into the 8th minute, and as we said, it's really just being passed around in the middle of the park at the moment. But actually, the stadium for France-Denmark has been built using 974 temporarily recycling shipping containers. It will be removed after the stadium. It's the first stadium to use containers. So there's their coach, Kasper Schulschmund. Okay, France have got the ball, playing it over to the right-hand side. Dembele driving into the middle, plays it back. The ball going over to the other side. Denmark coming over. Mbappe whipping the ball in the middle, headed clear by Denmark. Good work there by the Danish defence. And ball bounces back into France's own half. So, so far, you know, composed play by both sides. France just enjoying a little bit more of the ball now. You do feel when the ball comes to Dembele, like something's going to happen, to be honest. Like, I really like what I'm seeing out of him. So when the ball comes to him, he's on that right-hand side for France. And when the ball comes to him, you just think that he's got a few tricks up his sleeve. He could probably beat the defender that's there with him. Looks like he's looking to cut inside as well, which is good. Seeing him like running into that pack of white shirts is good, because England fell into the trap quite a few times of just, again, you know, staying on the outside. Ball in the middle. Lovely 1-2. That's lovely work. Ball's going to get whipped in. Back post. Rabiot. Oh, Rabiot was right up there, headed it back. And it fell to Giroud, but he couldn't get it into the goal. Couldn't get a connection onto it. It was good defending, and Denmark win the ball. So this is going to be a gripping game. Already we're starting to see some chances getting created. Ball coming over to that right-hand side. Being played back. What if this is football? It's wrestling. Who are you supporting, France or Denmark? Ball coming over to the right-hand side. Ball was almost getting played through, but no joy. I who am I supporting? I don't know. I feel like Denmark because like France have won the World Cup, and I don't want them to win it again. But I mean, to be perfectly truthful, France have won 4-1 in their first game. They're getting out of this group, aren't they? It's not going to be a problem for them to get out of this group. So yeah, I'm probably leaning Denmark. Who do you think wins in the Bloodline match? I say Bloodline. I think it'll be the Sheamus team because I think Sammy will take the pin. Either he'll take the pin or he'll result in them losing somehow. I think this is going to be the start of the split. I think this will be the start of the split. I don't think it'll be the split, but I think, seeds will be planted and it'll play out over the next few months. And we should get some great segments on SmackDown. Ball in the centre, going over to the left-hand side. So 11 minutes gone. We're into the 12th minutes. No shots on target yet. But Denmark have more than held their own. And they know France so well. As we said, they've played them twice in the build-up to this World Cup in the Nations League. And, they know them very, very well. Neymar is going to miss the second game for Brazil. Yeah, I've heard that. He is going to miss, I think, both of the next games, I believe. But again, they won, and I don't think it's going to be a problem for them to get through. Ball's going to get whipped in by France here, and it goes wide. So a free kick there by France. And it is put wide, nicely defended. It was whipped in by Griezmann, I believe, but Denmark getting on the end of it, heading it out. Which underrated player that has performed so far do you think's on a radar of a lot of clubs? Underrated player. We had this question yesterday about who's been the most underrated player that's shone. I feel like it's probably a bit too early. I think it's probably a bit too early to say. I don't know. Oh, nice clearance. Picked up there by Denmark. Ball being played forward. Denmark trying to counter, but France going to mop it up. So a corner there to France, and it was cleared. I feel like, and I could be wrong. I really could be wrong. But I feel like the days of clubs signing players because of how they've done at the World Cup are sort of gone. I feel like scouting has improved so much that you don't need the World Cup. The World Cup's not really going to provide too much of a surprise. It could throw up something. But I don't think the bigger nations, the bigger clubs are going to be looking at the World Cup for scouting opportunities. Their scouting networks are so advanced. I think Man United, I read, have got 35 scouts in different leagues around the world. Think about that. There's a scout just watching a different top league in around the world. And they've got 35 of them. And apparently they all got together in London or something to catch up and compare notes and kind of try and bring the scouting system together. That's something that hadn't been happening. And that was something United had done. So I sort of feel like the days of seeing someone have a great couple of games at a World Cup, so you then go out and buy them. I feel like for the big clubs, that's probably done now. Ooh, those kind of smaller clubs, I genuinely don't know. I don't know what if they would look to do that or not. It did used to be that way. It did certainly used to be that way. I would say as recent as the 90s into maybe the early 2000s, where someone would have a flyer and then people would talk about they've got on the radar kind of a thing. But I seriously think that a lot of the big clubs will be fully aware of anyone that plays at an international level, certainly for a country that's good enough to qualify for a World Cup. Ball coming over to that right-hand side. Dembele trying to beat his man. He doesn't quite. Oh, he goes again, and he does. Ball in. Yeah, Dembele's a problem, man. Dembele is a problem. these French players hit some lovely crosses. You can say that put the cross in croissants. Right. 16th minute, and we're seeing Kasper Schmeichel play the ball out to his defence. Ball being played forwards. So 16 minutes gone. So far, possession advantage is with France. 54%, 46% for Denmark. 3 shots for France, nothing for Denmark. No shots on target at the moment. Denmark won't be too down on this. Been a couple of moments for France, but I don't think they'll be too down on this. Ball coming over to the right-hand side. Gets played forwards and gets knocked back. Played across the back line by France. They're in their own half at the moment. Just building again. Ball coming into the middle. This is the kind of game that you might get in the knockout rounds, you know, like France versus a Denmark. Denmark are a team that absolutely can get out of a group, and of course France are as well. So it's kind of cool, this, because it's a little glimpse as to what you might expect from, like, the knockout rounds. The only difference is this game can end in a draw. The players know that it can end in a draw. I don't think a draw here is the worst result for France. Gets played back to the keeper. How to make YouTube. You watch something you don't like, press the X button and don't like it. How to work YouTube. Step-by-step guides. Looks like the crowd is loving the game. Ball goes back to that Danish defence. And it's played into the middle. So Denmark just passing it around there, enjoying a bit of the ball. We're into the 18th minute. Nelson passing it back, and the crowd are making noise. That is true. The crowd are really into this game, as you can understand. I think there's probably quite a lot of French support. They are the current world champions. They are aiming to defend their title. Ball comes over to that right-hand side, dinked into the middle. Denmark trying to build, but lose the ball. France winning it back, playing it back to that French defence. And we are sneaking our way towards the 20-minute mark, you know. James said, I wouldn't be surprised if Olivier Giroud is top goal scorer. Yeah, I mean, he is going to play every game, isn't he, now that Benzema is out? And I must admit, I was tempted to bring him into my fantasy team for this game. I didn't, only because of the fact I already had Mbappe. And actually, you know, thinking about it, I probably could have gone with Giroud and saved a bit of money and not gone with Mbappe. But either way, I don't know what they're going to get here. I don't know what they're going to get out of this game. Out of all of the games that France play, this is the one that you sort of look at and think, don't know what this result's going to be. There's a throw in for Mailer. Ball dinked in the middle. This is good by Denmark. They're in the penalty area. Ugh, they just couldn't pull the trigger. They just couldn't pull the trigger, and the ball gets away from them. Oh, there's a foul. French player goes down, and that's going to be a yellow. It's yellow. Yeah, I tell you what, that was risky because it really looked like he might have took the last man. Is that Christensen? It's going to be... Who? I don't know. Yeah, I think, is it Christensen? It's Christensen. Christensen gets a yellow. France looked like they were breaking, countering. Yeah. He pulls him down. He pulls down Mbappe. Mbappe goes down, and it's only deemed a yellow. I can understand why people might think that's the last man, and, I mean, Mbappe has got electric pace. He really could have been through there. He really could have been through. Thuram and Schmeichel sat watching this game. Griezmann plays the ball over to the wing. Here's Dembele. Dembele whipping the ball in, headed towards goal, and a save. Save there by Kasper Schmeichel. So headed towards goal. Just, are we seeing France starting to turn the screw a little bit now? Are we seeing France just starting to up the pressure a little bit? France really sticking it to Denmark. Denmark having to make that last-ditch foul. France on the ball with Varane. Varane playing it back, goes over to the left-hand sides. But if England underperform and get knocked out and Southgate's fired, what coach from England or outside could coach? For me, Eddie Howe or Thomas Tuchel. Yeah, I don't know that we'd get Eddie Howe because he's only just become Newcastle manager. And I think he's probably really enjoying what's happening at Newcastle. I think he's probably quite excited. I mean, it's a massive club. It's a sleeping giant. Any city in the UK where you only have one club is, do you know what I mean? Everyone in that city supports that team. I mean, I used to live in Wolverhampton. They're a city. They've only got one club. There's only Wolves. And everyone walks around in Wolves shirts. There's, the Wolves shop in town. And it's everything revolves around that club. Like when I worked in the shop on a Saturday, if Wolves played at home, there was no one around. I can only imagine that Newcastle must be like 5 times that, because Newcastle is a much bigger city, and the support that Newcastle fans, have is very well known. It's one of the best atmospheres in the Premier League is when you go to St James's Park. So for Eddie Howe to be the manager of that club and to have like the money that must be at his disposal and the support that he's got because of how good of a job he's done, like, man, how do you walk away from that job? How do you walk away from that job? Even if it is England that come calling, how do you walk away from that job? I really don't know. I don't know that he could, to be honest. Managing England would be like, very, very special. But so is what he's doing right now. And there's no guarantees in life, is there? I mean, honestly, if he turns England down, they might not come calling again. He'd have to weigh that up. It could go wrong at Newcastle. He could get fired. And, that could be it. But, yeah, I think it'd be hard to get him. I think it'd be very hard to get him. Tuchel, I think, has said he would be open to it. Tuchel is a top manager. He would be interesting. Poch, I think, has said he's open to it as well. I think Poch would be also quite interesting. The only thing I would say is that Poch had a very talented squad at PSG, and I mean that didn't go very well, did it? That's the only sort of concern, really. All being played over by France. There was a little break in play. Who are you with at the World Cup, said Mustafa? I'm leaning towards England, of course. That's who I'm hoping can get it done. I'm leaning towards them. I don't want to say winning it, but I feel like England could get to semi-final. I feel like semi-final, I think, is what I'm looking at. After that, I genuinely don't know. And I don't think they'll win it, because whoever they play in the final, I think are going to be the better team than England. Because it could be Spain, it could be Brazil. And I think if it's any other team that's got there, they've had to get through Brazil and Spain. So, I think that's going to be a tough challenge. So I don't know that England win it, but I am leaning towards them maybe getting to the semi-final. That's where I'm at the moment. Who do I think wins it? I'm sticking with the team I picked at the start, and that's Brazil. I'm sticking with Brazil. Days, how much of a chance do you think France have of winning the World Cup? How much of a chance do I think France got to win the World Cup? They've got a great chance. They've got a great chance. They are a great team, even without Benzema, even without Pogba, even without N'Golo Kante, even without Hernandez. They've shown that they've got depth. The only problem France have got, really, is if these injuries continue. Like, if they pick up another injury here, like if they lose, say, Mbappe, that would clearly be a massive problem. If they lose Dembele, that looks like it could be a bit of a problem. But saying that, if they lose Dembele, they've got Kingsley Coman to come in. Like, the depth of France is scary. It's scary. You kind of feel like maybe if they lose Giroud, but they could always move it around and put Griezmann up front. So you kind of look at it and go, well, if they lose this player, if they lose that player, but they've already lost tons of players. And they're still as good as what they are. So, yeah, I don't know. They're a scary team, to be honest. I think they've got a great opportunity. They're the team that England would likely face in the quarterfinal. And I think that France would go in as favourites, but I think England would have a chance. I think England would definitely have a chance. But why are we giving a child attention? Is Vince booking this World Cup, says Aubrey Edwards, dancing on wrestling's grave? Well, I tell you what, it's had its twists and turns, hasn't it? It's had its twists and turns. And Lucky Charm said it's weird. It's weird without UFC. It is weird, but to be honest, if there's a week that I'm really pleased there isn't UFC, it's this week because we've got Survivor Series, so trying to do UFC this week would have been a challenge. So, of all the weeks for it to happen, this is a week that I'm grateful. Ball being played forward. We're into the 28th minute, and there's been one shot on target. That was the good save that was made by Kasper Schmeichel. Other than that, we've not had really much. There was obviously that moment where Mbappe was almost through. Ball is with Denmark, trying to whip it in, but good defensive work there by Hernandez. Mustafa said, are you with France or Denmark? Am I with France or Denmark? I am... It's really tricky. I don't know is the answer. I mean, I feel like I'm with Denmark, but I'm constantly thinking about what does it mean for England? What does it mean for England? Like, if Denmark win, that increases the chances of France finishing second. And so that then, I think, changes what side of the draw they go on. And I don't know, like, how does that affect England? Is that good for England? Is it bad for England? Like, I suppose you can't really think that way because we don't know where England are finishing. So you can't really think about where the other team's going to finish because we don't even know where England are going to finish. So makes it hard. I view every result through the prism of how does this affect England. That's how I view every result. Even the Saudi Arabia result, I viewed that. My first reaction was, what does this mean for England? And then you go like, oh my God, if Argentina finished second, I think they would likely go on the same side of England if England topped the group. If England topped the group, then... it could be a case that they now have to worry about Argentina. So even that result, I was like, what does this mean for England? So everything is viewed through that prism. So I don't know. I don't know who I want. I'm just going to watch the game and enjoy it. I certainly hope that Mbappe scores because I've got him in my team. I wouldn't mind if Rabiot got the assist because I think I've got him as well. So I'm definitely rooting for a few fantasy players. But, it's more about what this means for England. Derek says, come on, France, do the Aussies a favour, then we can get crushed and gutted in the round of 16. Mouldy said, out of Valverde, De Jong, Tielemans, Neves, who would you want at United? I would want De Jong. I would want De Jong for one reason, and that is because Ten Hag wants De Jong. Shot Koundé and bounces off the defender, and Kasper Schmeichel jumps onto it. So, yeah, I mean, look, Valverde is really proving himself to be... If we got Valverde, I mean, that would be no problem whatsoever. Thank you very much. I would absolutely take Valverde. But if someone was to say, honestly, right, look, you've got the ability right now to have one player join United, whoever you say is who they get, I would say De Jong, because I know that Ten Hag wants De Jong and tried desperately to get De Jong. And if Ten Hag feels like that is the missing piece, that is the player he wants, a player that can build from the back and can, drive. I know he signed Casemiro, but I can't imagine that means he no longer wants De Jong. So I that would be the person I'd be looking at. If you put Bellingham in the conversation, I might struggle because for personal reasons, I would love Bellingham there because he started at Stabridge. And I don't know if you saw, but they were at Stabridge Football Club on BBC. I think it was BBC. They actually went to Stabridge to interview people that were watching the games at the ground. They went to Stabridge Football Club because people were watching it in the clubhouse. Apparently, there was 174 people. Full to capacity, the clubhouse was. 170. Could you imagine such numbers? 174 people. Must be the proudest day in our history to attract a crowd like that. So, 174 people watched the England game at the Stourbridge Football Club clubhouse. And, of course, they were asking about what they thought of Jude and how proud they were and all that kind of stuff. But, yeah, incredible. So Jude is a hero already. He'll go down as maybe the greatest footballer to come out of Stourbridge. I am aware of a few others. There was one that played for Man United. Don't know if he ever played in the first team. He was called Dan Nardiello, and he came out of Stourbridge, and he was someone whose career he played quite a bit for Bury and a few of those type teams. But he actually signed with Man United, came through their academy. So he was someone that was always respected and loved in Stourbridge, but his career never quite took off. I mean, nothing like Jude's. I mean, look at what Jude's doing at the age of 19. He's in conversation for one of the best young players in the world. He came out of Stourbridge. I mean, it's just bizarro land. It's just weird. Here's France trying to get a shot. Good save there by Kasper Schmeichel, actually. It was right at his feet. Another shot by France, and it's blocked. Another strike, but it's well defended. Denmark have got numbers back. Denmark with plenty of numbers back. Ball being whipped into the middle. No joy. And now it's being passed around. Comes all the way back to the French defense. And, another good save. So 6 shots, 2 on target. Nothing for Denmark. France are definitely the better sides. Oh, that's lovely link-up play. Cross coming into the middle. Headed clear by the defense. And booted away as well. Time is ticking. We've got around about 12 minutes left to go. Again, shot, and it bounces off the Danish defender, and it goes out of play. So 34 minutes gone. 172 people were there for Wrestling Days, hoping to catch a glimpse of you. Yeah, word had gone around town that I was going to be there. But sadly not. Dan Nardiello was a class wonder kid on Championship Manager back in the day. Was he? Is that true? I never knew that. If that is true, I never ever knew that. He was someone that we were quite excited about. When I was growing up, I always heard stories about Dan Nardiello because he was sort of around my age, and he is someone that people knew him. Let's put it that way. People I played with knew him and had played I don't know if they'd played in the same teams that he had as he was young and coming through. But he was just a name that you heard around, about Dan Nardiello. He was born in Stourbridge and grew up in Stourbridge and played for local teams when he was very young, and then obviously got picked up by Man United scouts and ended up going there. So, yeah, that's really if that's true, that's really interesting. I never knew that. I never knew he was like a top young player on Championship Manager. Ball being played forward. Here's Denmark. Is he onside? Shot by Denmark, and it's wide. And it's wide. The flag did not go up. That was Cornelius. So, quick break by Denmark. I don't know if he's onside, but apparently he was. Oh, I don't know if he was onside. Either way, it doesn't matter. The shot was wide. Got to be putting that on target. That's a great opportunity. Got to be getting that on target. Why are there only 5 matches at Survivor Series? Well, the War Games matches will take a long time. Those War Games matches will probably be about 40 minutes each. So, in a way, it's a little bit like the Rumble. You know how the Rumble never has loads of matches because you've got 2 Rumbles. Well, the War Games matches will take up a lot of time. Nardiello confirmed. Yeah, he was at Man United in 01 and 01-02. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. Thank you for letting me know that, Undercover Manager. I fully expected to say that name and not a single person know who he was. Because, as I said, just wide there by Giroud. Got a head on the ball, it just went wide. Because, yeah, he didn't... I don't even know if he played for Man United, to be honest. I know he went on a lot of loans, but sadly, he ended up getting permanently sent. And then he had a real spell at Bury. I remember Bury in particular. But he had a good career, in all fairness. He had a good career. War Games. Have you got any pets? Yeah, we've got a dog, German Shepherd, called Kia, and she's fat. So yeah, we've got her. Ball in the middle. We're seeing Denmark coming forward. Nice. Playing the ball over to the wing. Over to the left-hand side. We're into the 38th minute. There's Dembele. I tell you what, I really like Dembele. Dembele is a known player, of course, but he's really stood out for me in the 2 games I've seen so far. I thought he was great against Australia. And I think it's been a real live wire here. But that's lovely work in the middle. No one in there. Well, there was. Was that Cornelius again? He's whipped the ball across. That's number 13. It's Christensen. It's a look at that. Lovely nutmeg of Hernandez. He's absolutely done him there. He's absolutely done him. But the end result is a France throw-in. Ball is knocked out of play. We're in France's half. And it's going to be another French throw. So at the moment, 50-50 on possession. 11 shots to 1. 3 shots on target to 0. Expected goals for France is 0.8. Expected goals for Denmark is 0.03. Oh, is that a foul? No, referee says no. Hernandez went down. Referee not interested. Real battle here as France and Denmark are battling away to get the ball. France get it. Play it on the edge of the area. And it goes long. Hello, Days. And chat says Huff Sports Media. Hello, hope you're well. I haven't been able to join many streams because I got a job. Well done. Many congratulations, which is cool. How have you been? We've been good. We've been good. We've been enjoying the World Cup. There's been a lot of tense games in these early stages. But, yeah, we're starting to see a bit of excitement, what with teams now on the verge of elimination, and none more so than Argentina. Oh, shot! Dembele plays the ball to Mbappe, and Mbappe skies it. Skies it. Yeah, Dembele, was he onside? It's borderline. borderline, but either way, he gets the ball, pulls it back, and I mean, for Mbappe to not hit the target there is criminal. He's standing about at the penalty spot. He just leans too far back, gets his foot under the ball, goes straight up. I tell you what, the longer this goes, the more nervous France will be because Denmark, I believe, did this to them before, kept it tight, kept it 0-0. Upamecano just clipping his knee there, grimacing in pain. Tell you what, people aren't going to want to see another injury, but he's back on his feet. He looks all right. Many clubs want to sign him. Amazing performance so far for Natalie. Man United could benefit by signing him. What's his name? Kvaratskhelia is a Georgia player. Not on my radar, but I appreciate being told. Not that I'm going to remember that name. Kvaratskhelia? Shelia? Shelia. Kvaratskhelia. I'll try and remember it. What are you doing, Mbappe? Says Tharuka. Derek, shout out to you. It's 0-0 at the moment. 0-0. And close a few times for France. Mbappe with a wonderful opportunity. Mbappe breaking through as well, but was fouled. So we are seeing some nice moments for France, but the score remains 0-0. Ball is in the French half at the moment. Here come France trying to drive forward. The 3-4. Dembele well offside. Dembele was well offside. He was wanting the ball. Here's Koundé. Plays it to Dembele. Goes back to Koundé. Denmark win it back. Now, who's in trouble? Is that Koundé that gets a yellow? Koundé get a yellow for that? They said that looks like it could be a sore one. Let's have a little look. Oh, yeah. I didn't realise he'd actually stood on his ankle, but he does. Koundé stands on Victor Nelson's ankle. He's still down here. Koundé gets a yellow card for that. So, yellow cards. Could you imagine if France start picking up some red cards as well? Just to add to their injury woes. I would imagine, I wonder if the refs are like even more reluctant at a World Cup to go to a red. It would make sense that they were, because in a season, do you know what I mean? Like seasons, months and months long, if you get red carded because you deserve it, you're going to miss a couple of games. But, you know, there's other games. Different at a World Cup, innit? Different at a World Cup. I wonder if they're told to just be a little more lenient. I mean, obviously, look, a red card is undeniably a red card, is a red card, but I wonder if they are just that little more lenient. This stream has been made of... Yeah, this stream is made out of shipping containers as well. Tall Paul, shout out to you. James, hello. Good morning. Tharuka says, come on, France. Okay, so Denmark on the ball. Playing it back to their defence. 44th minute. We're almost into the 45th. Almost into the 45th. We're almost done with this first half. Ball coming over to that left-hand side, but it goes straight out of play. And it's going to be a French throw. Fairly well into their half. About halfway into their half. We haven't spoke about it as well, but Denmark are wearing subdued shirts, aren't they? They've got a shirt that's all white, and their badge is all white as well. So it's there. It's just hard to see. And they've done that in protest of the human rights shot from range, but well wide. I think their kit maker as well is also there, but it's all white. So Yeah, it's hard to make out unless you get a good close-up to actually see the badge. But they've done that because they said that they just want to try and be as they want to be as invisible as possible at these games. Obviously, they want to turn up and put in a good performance on the pitch, but they're making a statement through their shirt, which I'm surprised FIFA haven't got a problem with, to be honest. They've got a problem about everything else. 3 added minutes. 3 added minutes. Ball coming over to the left-hand side. Played centrally. France coming in with a tackle. Chevika is a Georgian player that made chaos against Liverpool when Napoli beat Liverpool. I think he assisted and scored in that game. Well, he's on my radar. I know to keep an eye out for a Georgian player that plays for Napoli that whose name I definitely will forget. Mbappe to the back post. Edward said, Team Bianca or Team Damage Control? I am Team Damage Control. Team Damage Control because I think Team Bianca's just a cobbled together team. You can say the same for Damage Control as well, in all fairness, but at least 3 of them are in a faction, maybe 4. I don't know what the future holds for Nikki Cross. So then, of course, you got Rhea Ripley just bolted on, but I would go with Damage Control. I feel like they really could do with a dub. Ball is up in the air, bouncing around in the French half. Denmark on the ball, 3 added minutes. We're into the second of those 3. And don't forget, after this, we've got another half. But then, of course, we go straight into Argentina versus Mexico. If Argentina lose, I think I'm right in saying they are out. You are out of there. Oh, I'd love for them to lose. I wonder what happens if they draw. Have we got the table? What happens if Argentina draw? Are they out? If Argentina draw, they would be on 1 point. Mexico would be on 2. They could still qualify. They play Poland, so they could still qualify, unfortunately. Yeah, so they wouldn't be out. But I think if they lose, they're out. Still 0-0 at the moment. Let's have a look, see how the players are scoring. So at the moment, Griezmann actually 7.3. Dembele only 6.8. I think he's been really good. Rabiot, half-time. There's half-time. So end of the half, it's 0-0. Denmark have defended. They've defended really well. Loads of balls being whipped in. Loads of clearances by Denmark. Haven't created loads the other end, and what chances they have absolutely squandered. But, yeah, that's not bad by Denmark at all. To go in half-time, 0-0. France, don't forget, they beat Australia 4-1, and they looked good. But here, they just cannot find that breakthrough. But this is a team that they have struggled against. This is a team that is very hard for them to beat. They played them twice this year, and they've lost both times. So Denmark are doing a great job of holding their own. Tactically as well, like I think Denmark are going to be able to make a few changes. They'll be able to neutralize some of the problems that France have given them in the first half. But will France's quality show through in the end? But yeah, the highest scoring player on the pitch is Højbjerg, who is 7.4. He's the highest scoring player on the pitch so far, with Griezmann second, 7.3. Half-time is France 0, Denmark 0, says Legend Killer. Cal L. Cool J said Griezmann has been good in this tournament. Mr. Consistent. Is Japan still in, said Crone's Chosen? Yes. They're still in, and Not only are they still in, they got a win over Germany, and their next game, which I believe is on Sunday, is going to be against Costa Rica. Costa Rica lost 7-0 to Spain, so you've got to think that Japan are going to go into that game with confidence. I think if Japan win, are they through? If Japan win, they might go through, you know. Let's have a look and see what we've got. Let's have a look, see what we've got. Where is the Japan group? Japan. When was that Japan game gone? It's a while ago. Wednesday. Let's look at the standings. So, if Japan win, they would be on 6 points. If Germany win, they would be on 3. So, if Germany beats Spain, they will be on 3. Spain will be on 3. Japan will be on 6. Costa Rica will be on nothing. Japan plays Spain. They're probably going to lose that, you would think. So they would end on 6. Spain would end on 6. Oh, I don't know if they go through, you know. If they win today, I don't know that they're through. I think that in order for them, if they win today, they're pretty much through. There would need to be certain results that go against them in that last round. But yeah, there's... I mean, look, Spain are through, aren't they? They've got a goal difference of +7. That's going to massively help them. Massively help them. Not only have they got those 3 points, but yeah, that +7 is going to be a big, big help. That game is going to be absolutely fascinating. Germany, Spain. When do we get that? Is that tomorrow? Yeah, wow. Oh my God, what a weekend this is. What a weekend this is. So today we get to enjoy France and Denmark. Fascinating. Then we've got Argentina, Mexico, and Argentina could go out. And then tomorrow we get to enjoy Japan, who I think have been a really fun team. I'm actually looking forward to that game. And if they win, they're pretty much through. So that'll be interesting. But in all fairness, Spain and Germany is very much the game, isn't it? Spain and Germany. That is very much where the eyes of the world are going to be. So, yeah, wow. So we've got a very fun, very interesting weekend coming up. And obviously Survivor Series on top of that as well. Right, let's go back to the stats on this one. So 13 goal attempts to 2, but only 3 on target by France. No shots on target for Denmark. The Georgian player that I was talking about, Shiva, really had amazing performances at Napoli. Just got signed this season. 6 goals, 7 assists. He is called the Messi of Georgia. Man United could use him. I haven't heard that we are... I don't know who we're linked with. I've heard we're linked with Gakpo. There's been a few rumblings about Mbappe. But, yeah, we'll have to see like who United go for. Now they've got a bit of that Ronaldo money. I would imagine that there'll be a player or two that come in January. I would expect a player or two to come in. I think United are within touching distance of, if I remember right, I think they're 5th. I feel like they're within touching distance of Champions League. So I think it would, with Ronaldo going, make a lot of sense to bring in a few players. Obviously the right players, but it would make sense to bring in a couple of players that can help them really secure Champions League. You know, if they go and get Gakpo and maybe one other, whoever that is, I don't know. As long as it does secure Champions League, then I'd have to say that it was worth it, to be honest. And obviously we've still got cup competitions as well. I think United are still in all the cup competitions, aren't they? I'm trying to remember what's happening with the League Cup. Don't know what's happening with the League Cup. I don't think we're out. I can't remember us going out. So it would help with that as well, you know. And, of course, we're still in the Europa League, which, that's the big one. That's the one that everyone wants to win. Haven't we got Barcelona? Didn't we draw Barcelona? I've got a feeling we've got to play Barcelona. I mean, if you really want any more motivation to go and get a couple of players, the fact that you've got a game against Barcelona, which is going to decide whether you progress in the Europa League or not. Like, and you're fifth, and it's the top four that win Champions League. Like, I can see there being some arguments to go out and get a couple of players. And let's be honest, if the Glazers are selling up, what the flip do they care? Do you know what I mean? If they are about to sell the club, what do they care about us just getting another couple of players? So put it in an email, send it over to him. Got more chance of signing Kylian Dane instead of Kylian Mbappe, said Cal L Cool J. Hamad said, what did you think of England? I thought they were disappointing. I never felt like they got going. Never felt like they got into a rhythm. I think USA have to be given credit for preventing England to get into a rhythm. I think that some of their decisions were not the right decisions. We saw them sort of revert back to the England of old. They were passing the ball along the back. I was full of praise about Bellingham. I said that I actually said beforehand, I feel a lot better with Bellingham in this team because Bellingham's the kind of player that will get the ball, have his head up, and he will look for that forward pass. They just weren't getting the ball to him that often, and when he did get onto the ball, he wasn't able to make those passes, and he wasn't able to kind of create those chances. And England just, I don't know, it seemed like they struggled with creativity. I thought they looked better when Grealish came on. I thought Grealish provided some interesting moments. There was a bit where he got the ball and like weaved his way into the penalty area. I think it resulted in a shot from someone, which was deserved to be a much better finish than because Grealish had set it up so well. So yeah, I mean, look, I understand the only thing for me in regards to Southgate is there are questions as to why Foden didn't come on, but Southgate will have his reasonings for that. Against this defence, you know, I think he was looking at maybe a bit more pace than what Foden has. And so that's why I think he might have turned to Rashford instead of Foden. He'll have his reasons for it. He will have his game plans, and you know whatever his plans were, they didn't quite come off. But it's not the end of the world. At no point yesterday did I feel really panicked. You know, there was a couple of chances for USA in the early stages, which they blasted over with McKinney, which, you know, if they'd have scored that and we'd gone 1-0 behind, it would have made for a more interesting game because England would have had to have responded and they would have had to have battled. And, you know, I mean, they were battling anyway, but there was, I don't know, they just never got going. I wonder if they'd conceded, would they have got going? Would that have been the thing that lit the fire? Because they just never got going. They just never ever got into a rhythm. They never really looked that dangerous. They created a couple of moments, but nothing that you would really get that excited about. So I think that there's definitely work to be done. I mean, if I'm Southgate, we've picked up a point. It was a disappointing performance. You do have to give USA credit because I thought, you know, there was times where Bellingham got the ball. There was 2 US players that were straight onto him. Ball coming into Kane, there was 2 American players straight onto him. Like, they had a game plan. They executed it really, really well. They frustrated England. They asked England some questions, and England really struggled to find the answers. That's the truth. They really struggled to find the answers. But I never really felt like we were in danger of losing the game. I actually thought England played quite well at the end of the first half and at the end of the second half. I mean, at the end of the first half, I remember us having a couple of chances. And I remember saying, if this was to go for like another 5 minutes, England feel like they're about to get into their best spell of the game. So, but of course, they do it in a classic England fashion when there's literally no time left. So that was the end of the first half. And then at the end of the game, it felt like England enjoyed the better part of the final 10 minutes. As we said, Grealish looking quite good when he came on. So I can't say there was really any moments where I was like, oh my God, really panicked. I think we're going to lose, all that kind of stuff. There was definitely times where USA, I thought, could have scored. But then I would have been interested to have seen England's response to that. So I feel like 0-0. I feel like it's fair. I feel like you can definitely make an argument that USA should have just pipped it 1-0. But if you look at expected goals and you look at possession and you look at like the game overall, I sort of feel like 0-0 was probably the right result. and we take it. We take the point. We move on, and we try and learn the lessons from it. I mean, clearly there is a problem there that when there's a team that's going to sit deep, they're going to be pressing us as well as what they did. England, teams that are going to be hard to break down, and you're not going to enjoy space to play. England have got a problem, and it's a problem that they need to try and solve. It's a problem that they're going to need to get answers for when we get to the knockout stages. And so let's see how they do and what lessons they learn and what they work on. Yeah, it was all right. Is the honest answer. We were talking earlier about how England fans are like Southgate out or it's coming home. When you get a result where you go, well, do you know what? It's not what I wanted, but it's a point and it's all right. And I remember the Euros when we drew and against Scotland, and everyone was saying it was the end of the world. And I can remember many previous World Cups where we never even started with wins. So many times England would look a bit flat in their first games, like they took them at least a game to wake up. That would happen all the time. So, I mean, honestly, go back through England's records. You're going to really struggle to find examples. I'm sure there are, but you'll struggle to find examples of where England won every game in the group stage and looked good in the group stage. Like, it's just not the way it goes. It's just not what England do. Like, they always tend to drop some points somewhere. The question now, though, the bigger question is, can England get that result against Wales? Not an easy game. Wales are ranked in the top 20. They're going to be bang up for it. It's a different game as well. But Wales need the win. That means that there should be space for England. And it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be very, very interesting to see how England approach that game and how much space do Wales give England. Wales will be good. Certainly they're going to have fight and heart and passion. No doubting or questioning that. But what are England going to bring? Because England are not qualified. So England are not going into that game going to be sitting back. England need to get a result in this game. I think a draw puts us through. But, of course, it's hard to know if we top the group with the draw or not without knowing what happens in the other game. I think if both games end in a draw, then I think England do go through as group winners. So even a draw would not be the end of the world against Wales as long as the other game is a draw as well. So it's kind of a weird situation you find yourself in. But of course they're going to go for the win. They'll go for the win and we'll see what happens. And as we said, in regards to the USA, you guys just need to win. It's really straightforward. You've got to get a result against Iran. And I think if you can play as well against Iran as you did against England, I think you've got to go into that game with some real confidence. I think the result against England should give you some momentum as well. I've got to think that the mood around the camp is a lot different in the USA camp than it was after the Wales game. Days was because of a stream bot. I thought England was going to trample. England will still easily get through to the next round, said Michael. Kvicha plays as a left winger and a forward. His dribbling skill is unreal. He is 21. Michael said the US have no strikers. Twitter is doing an amnesty day where accounts are being returned that have been suspended. Yeah, I'm still that I might need to put no copyright content at the top. And I started doing that, and then I never had any problems for years and years and years. Not until Elon took over. I never had any problems. It worked. Twitter didn't have a problem with it. It worked. Lovely. Thank you. Everyone was winning. And then Elon's took over, and now all of a sudden, without even being told, it's now apparently a problem. And so it's resulted in one account getting suspended and one of my accounts getting locked, which I have now unlocked begrudgingly. So if I do get those accounts back, then I suppose it's a dub in it because I get those accounts back and I can use those handles and I can, still share videos. But I think the days of sharing streams are gone. to be honest, which is a bit of a concern. But these things are sent to try us, aren't they? We won't ever win a tournament with Southgate. Hopefully he leaves after France destroy us, says Redemption. Well, I mean, all I will say is let's see how it goes, shall we? Let's see how it goes, because I think a lot of people thought that Italy were going to destroy us in the final because they were the best team at the Euros, and they didn't. It was a draw that went to penalties, and England were winning the shootout. So had it have been that England had actually converted those 3 final penalty kicks, we would be European. It was in our hands. It was in our hands. It was absolutely in our hands. If we had scored those 3 kicks, it didn't matter what Italy did. We were the European champions, and we let it slip. Heartbreaking. I mean, it couldn't have been more heartbreaking. It could not have been more heartbreaking. We went as far into that tournament as we could. I mean, unbelievable. But he's the manager. Get behind him, support him. The negativity from England fans is not going to be of any help to the team in this World Cup right now. Whether you Southgate in or Southgate out, I think people just need to get behind this team. I really do. Like the negativity doesn't change, and it's not going. Southgate ain't leaving during this tournament. He could go after, and if we do go crashing out to France, then feel free to let your feelings know at that point if you're angry at the performance, and then who knows what we do after this World Cup. I mean, honestly, if we do go crashing out and it's not a great performance and there's a lot of noise at that point, I don't know what Southgate would do. I mean, he has always said he doesn't want to outstay his welcome. Ball is cleared by France. How far do you think England will go? I think England have got a chance against France, personally. I think that, I mean, look what we're seeing here at the moment. We're into the 50th minute. They're playing Denmark. Is this England team worse than Denmark? I mean, I feel like Denmark are a very good team, but I can't say that they're a better team than England. I think England have got better individuals. There's obviously question marks as to whether England play as well as Denmark do as a team. But, I mean, all came through to Kasper Schmeichel. I think that this France sides have lost 6 of their competitive games this year. Won 1 of their last 6. And that was when they didn't have the injury problems. Now they've got injury problems as well as what had been bad form. Now we're seeing them play a decent side in Denmark, and we're not seeing France. France is still looking good here, but, it's still 0-0. It's still 0-0. I think this idea that we play France and we get absolutely destroyed by them, I don't subscribe to it personally. I think England have got a good chance against France. So I don't think England win the World Cup because I just think Brazil look too strong. Their squad, as good as England's squad is, I think Brazil's is better. I think France's is better. So England have got a chance, but I don't think you can look at England's squad and say that squad on paper is the best squad at this tournament. It's one of, it's up there, it's in the mix. But, things are going to have to go our way in order to win the World Cup. And we're going to have to beat good teams. We're going to have to get past the France. We're going to have to get past the Brazil. And I don't know how possible that is, to be honest. So I could see England getting to quarterfinals, semi-finals. Honestly, if we get to the final, I think you've got to say that Southgate's done a fantastic job if we get to the final. I really do. Because that would surely mean that we got past a France, maybe a Portugal. So let's see. I mean, let's take it a step at a time. Let's get out the group, and it looks like we're going to get out the group, see how the next round goes, and take it from there. France are on the ball, so 6 minutes gone in this half, and playing it forward down that left-hand side. Heung-min Son is preparing the next step in his career. Many top clubs are following him, including Liverpool. Great player, of course. Great player. I don't think he's been that brilliant this year for Tottenham, though, has he? But I mean, I can't imagine that that's a problem. His link-up play with Kane was somewhat special, though. I think it's going to be a real shame to see that partnership kind of break up. And I wonder how Kane feels about that as well. I wonder how he feels about that. Ball going all the way back to Hugo Lloris. Hugo Lloris has got the ball. We're not seeing much in the way of goal attempts here. The ball is just being passed around. I have been most impressed with Spain, but several teams are looking good, said Michael. England should have started Grealish and Foden. Yeah, but the only problem you've got is that if they did that, then, and it didn't work, then you would have had people saying, why did he change a team that looks so good against Iran? You know, you need consistency at a World Cup. If you are going to chop and change, like, how are they going to, you know, form relationships and all this kind of stuff? So he could have gone that way. He didn't. He went with the team that did so well against Iran. I can't blame him for that. I can't blame him for that. I don't think that was the wrong move. I do understand people being upset about Foden. Kasper Schmeichel coming out clearing it. I can understand that. And that's, you know, one that he's might even look back on and go, should have done that. I should have put Foden on in retrospect. But, you know, he's got loads of data. He sees them train. He's got Steve Holland on the bench with him. They're making those kinds of decisions together. And I mean, look, if he makes a wrong decision by not bringing a player on at a certain time, so be it. I think he's getting a lot right. I think he's doing a lot right. I like Southgate. I've never shied away from saying that. I supported him all throughout the Euros, and look at the journey that we went on. And I think that the win against Iran, the fact that we are going into this last group game, not only could we qualify, but we could quite comfortably finish top of the group. It's just never good enough, though, is it? It's never good enough. You've got to, if you're Southgate, you've got to win every game. If you don't win every game, if the team don't look brilliant and you don't win every game, then people will be upset and you'll be a disgrace and you need to leave and all this kind of stuff. It's like, geez, man. Semi-final, got to the semi-finals of the First Nations League, got to the final of the Euros, qualified for the World Cup when, you know, Italy did not. So qualified for the World Cup. But all of these things just get taken for granted because they're supposed to happen. But as we said, you know, things that are supposed to happen in football don't always happen. We've seen that time after time after time after time. Denmark trying to wrap their foot around the ball. There was a corner there, but well defended by France. So, look, people have got their opinions on it. No one's going to change their mind at this stage. If you're Southgate out, you're Southgate out. If you're Southgate in, then I would imagine you're Southgate in. My feeling on it are let's get behind the team. Let's see how they do at this tournament. There's no benefit to England whatsoever for anyone to be down on the team right now. So get behind them. See how they do. If they do go crashing out, moan away with love. Because, you know, it might, if they do look bad in a game and go crashing out, there is a chance that he does walk away at that point. Nice link-up play here. Denmark whipping the ball in the middle, but just clips the French defender. Still not seeing any chances, but we are seeing Denmark enjoying more of the ball. But France pick it up. Let's have a look and see what the breakdowns are by half. So, first half was, oh, wow. Mbappe charging, takes a shot and saved by Kasper Schmeichel. Saved by Kasper Schmeichel. It's going to be a corner to France. That's what Mbappe gives you, a real injection of energy and pace. Here he is, look, turning, picking up the ball. And he is off. As soon as he is off, he is off. It is true. You just cannot get him. Weave in. Takes a shot. He's got a lovely shot on him. Stings the hands of Kasper Schmeichel. Goes behind for a corner. So it's a France corner. Griezmann going to look to whip it in. He does. It doesn't beat the first man. And that's not a great corner. So, first half, no shots on target by Denmark, 3 by France. So far in this half, 0-0, but we did just see Mbappe take a shot. So, as we said, just over 10 minutes in, and just that first shot on target. That first shot, actually. First shot of the half is what we had. Throw into France. So, in their half, ball being played back. I think the opening of St. George's Park was a huge reason for the improvement, says Martin. I completely agree. I think St. George's Park has been a fantastic success. I completely agree. And I think that we are starting to see the results of that. I mean, the fact that all of the England sides now train together, work together, all of the different levels in the structure of England's setup get together, and it means that our youth teams can play a certain way, and so as they come through, they are ready to fit into the national side in systems that they are used to playing youth levels. We've also seen some of those younger sides winning some big tournaments as well. We're seeing some good talent coming out. I think Chelsea's academy needs lots of praise as well, because Chelsea's academy has produced a real crop of players, and from what I've heard, they've got one of the best academies in Europe. I mean, what they are churning out talent-wise is so impressive. It would be great to see the other clubs kind of get to that level as well. I don't know where, like, a lot of the other academies are at. I feel like Man City's academy's got to be great. But to be honest, I can't really think of too much talent that's come out of that academy yet. I mean, Foden is an example. Sancho is an example. Cole Palmer at the moment's getting a bit of time. I believe he's an example. Is it Mbete? Mbete as well, who we're seeing around the first team sometimes. Like, he's an example. But, oh, lovely work. Oh, skied over by Griezmann. That is beautiful. Ball comes down. He chests it. Manages to get around the defender. Takes the shot and skies it over, man. Oh, look at that. Oh, allows the chesting of the ball to just create the space. That's beautiful. That is beautiful. To chest it down and use that to not only control the ball, but to actually knock it into space for you to run onto. That is top draw, top quality. Lindstrom playing the ball over, and it's picked up by Koundé. Koundé launching the ball forward as France trying to chase onto it. So 14 attempts by France, but only 3 on target still. 4 on target. Yeah, that I thought then when it said 3. Because I remember reading 3 in the first half, but it is 4. Incorrect graphic on screen. ITV with fake news. Right, here come France again. Hour gone. Ball coming over to the left-hand side. Here's Kylian Mbappe. Mbappe cutting on the inside. Finds the through ball. It comes back to Mbappe and it's in. France have scored. France have scored. That is lovely link-up play between them. The deadlock has been broken. It's Mbappe, and it's Mbappe's brilliance. He is the difference maker for this French side. When you've got arguably the best player in the world right now, that's his 30th goal for France. 30th goal for France. Kylian Mbappe. Cuts on the inside. Gets it back. Bangs it in. Beautiful. Beautiful. Lovely little 1-2 in the area, and it is a goal for Kylian Mbappe. I think Hernandez might have got the assist. I need to see. That's big. That is big for France. Denmark know that they can score against France, but it's going to be a challenge for them to do it. Yeah, I think it's Hernandez. I'm going to put Hernandez on screen. Obviously, this is going to be important for anyone playing the fantasy game. 30 goals. 23 years old, is he? 61st minute. And that is going to break Danish hearts because they'd kept this half really tight. But, yeah, it is Hernandez with the assist. It is Hernandez with the assist. So, at the moment, if you've got Hernandez, Mbappe, then you're doing well. In fairness, if you've got any of these French defenders, you're doing well. Most underrated player ever is Matt Letitia, says Cal L Cool J. How long till the end of the half? Well, hang on. I don't know why is that not working? We've got, we're in the 63rd minute is where we are. 63, about there. Mbappe is the man, says Saruka. It's brilliant. So we're just looking at the group now. France are top. Australia are second. Denmark are third. And Tunisia are fourth. So Denmark and Australia would be a big game to decide who else goes through. They said about Denmark that even if they lose here, it's not the end of the world for them. They just need to win either way in their last group game. Whatever happens, whether they win here or not, they've got to win that last game. I wonder if they'll start to have one eye on it, in all fairness. I wonder if we might start... I think they've definitely battled hard to get a result out of this game. But if, it starts to become more obvious that's not going to happen, I wonder if we will start to see... Shoulder tackle. I wonder if we will start to see them taking off people, key players, resting them, for that next game. Ball coming over to the right-hand side. Here's Christensen. Down the line, being chased after, and it's mopped up by the French defence. Wrestle with Andy said, I'm still on for my Mbappe hat-trick prediction. You are, You are. Well, you can breathe a sigh of relief because I think even just having him as a captain, I mean, that's fine, isn't it? He scored. It's all you can really ask for. Oof. It's a lovely finish that is by Mbappe. He's got two defenders right in front of him. The ball gets past them and Kasper Schmeichel. And there we've got a Frenchman celebrating in the crowd. This is a very long first half, says Martin. Druka said, I knew Mbappe would hit a goal. He has been everywhere in the ground. Aubrey Edwards, dancing on wrestling's grave, said less than 2 hours until Argentina versus Mexico. Do you ever think we'll see Mbappe winning Ballon d'Or? Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I mean, he's only 23 years old, and can't see any reason why he won't win the Ballon d'Or at some point. But then I think we would have said the same about Neymar, wouldn't we? Oh, bouncing around France's penalty area. They couldn't quite get it out. Here's Denmark battling. They've still got the ball. Denmark trying to get the ball out, and they've managed to regain possession. They're in France's half. No, it's gone back to the Danish defence, so they're rebuilding. That's a lovely diagonal ball, though. Long diagonal ball over to the left-hand side. Denmark playing it back just outside the penalty area. Comes over to the right-hand side now. Lovely ball. Going to look to play it across. It is played across. It bounces off. It's played back in again. Corner. It's a corner. It's gone out for a corner, so it's going to be a corner to Denmark. Tell you what, France need to make sure their heads are still in this game because Denmark can still score here. Right, here we go. It's going to be a corner. Can Denmark get something from this? Can Denmark get something from this? Come on, France, says Legend Killer. Tharuk said, very good chance for Denmark. Ball's whipped in. Oh, it's in! Denmark score! Denmark have scored! Wow! Christensen scores! Great response! Great response! Wow, it's in off the corner. It's in off the corner. Denmark score. Denmark score. So it's Christensen. Look at this. Makes its way through. Bullet header. Boof. Bounces down off the ground, actually. Hits the ground. Comes back up. Wow. That's how you respond. That's how you respond. Christensen is it with the goal. Christensen. Just the third for his country, but Christensen scoring just about 6 minutes later. Denmark back in this. Wow. Now France are going to open them up, said Edwards. Ball goes out. It was a head goal. 1-1, 1-1. Denmark goal. Yes, 1-1. Wow. What? Lots of unbelieving reactions. Shock in the chat as France are surging forwards. But good tackle there by Denmark. 20-odd minutes left on the clock. I wonder what the French fans are thinking. I'd imagine they don't care. Well, I imagine they do. But their last game is against, what, Tunisia? I mean, France. France are beating Tunisia, yeah? So they've already got 3 points. I'm fairly certain they're going to get 3 points. They're going to get a point here. To be honest, this is a little bit like the England-USA game. A draw here, it's not the end of the world. It's one of those where, you know, Deschamps out. Didier Deschamps out after this, but it's not the end of the world for France. Battling away, ball goes out of play. Last 30 minutes is going to be fire, said Taruka. It was Anderson with the assist. Anderson getting the assist for all of you fantasy players. Da 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 da. Yeah, lots of noise being made right now in the stadium. I would imagine that's coming from the Danish fans. But as I said, I think the French fans will be getting behind their team as well. France have undoubtedly played the better. Oh, man. Could you imagine if Denmark's got... Even if France lose this, like, I still can't see that being a massive problem. Here's Mbappe. Ball being whipped in and straight into the hands of Kasper Schmeichel. Let's have a look and see what happens if they do lose. What happens if they do lose? If France lose, they would be on 3 points. Denmark would be on 4 points. Australia would be on 3 points. I mean, as long as France... As long as France get a point, is it? As long as France, I think, get a point in their last game, they would be all right. It would make it more difficult, of course it would. But as long as they beat Tunisia, and they're going to beat Tunisia, they would still be all right, even if they were to lose this. That first win is so important, isn't it? We're seeing that. That first win, it's really given England a foundation to build on, but there's other nations that are showing as well that, like, you can win your first game and then not take your second or third games easy, but getting those 3 points on the board, so important. Mexico is going to beat Argentina. That's a Vince McMahon guarantee, said Aubrey Edwards. Man, could you imagine? I hope they do. I hope Argentina go home. Ball played backside footed. Save! Wow! Saved by Hugo Lloris. That is a golden opportunity for Denmark. Golden opportunity. Look at this. Pulled into the middle. He side foots it, but it's right at Hugo Lloris. Oh. It's straight at the keeper. He needed to try and really rifle that top bins. Dolberg is coming on, but Denmark, wow. They're not going away. Right, we're going to see a corner. Corner to Denmark right now. The tension on this, the excitement. Ball being whipped in. Cleared by France. Cleared by France. Denmark playing the ball over to the right-hand side. Dinking it into the middle. Nice work by Denmark. Denmark have still got it. Shot from range, but blasts off the French player. It then gets played back to the Danish defense. So Damsgaard is off. Dolberg is on. Dolberg. 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 What do you call an unemployed Goldberg? Dolberg. 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 Right, we're going to see a couple of changes for France as well. I think Varane is going off. So Varane is exiting for France. So his time being managed because he's coming back from a little niggle. Dembele is coming off as well. So Varane and Dembele are off. On comes Coman and Kanate. Right, 15 minutes to go. There are more goals in this game, said Martin. Michael said, read my comment. I will probably be in and out. My favourite college team are playing their arch rivals, says Michael. Well, I wish your team all the best, Michael. I do not have a dog in that fight, so I wish you all the success. Ball is being played forward. Mike said there are more goals in this game. J.M. Beer said the fridge is completely full of alcohol and food for war games. Yeah, it's going to be good. That's later tonight, of course, and we'll be all over that. I did find it just momentarily, a little weird to like switch to like wrestling. I found it like I had to take a moment to really think about where are we with the stories? Who's doing what? When we did the stream last night, it just took me that moment. I think I'm getting old. My brain can't quite find the files as quick as they used to. I think I've just got an old operating system now in my head. I was like, okay, what are the stories going on at the moment? Here's Griezmann. I really hope France wins, says Ritz. Who do you think will grab the late winner? Well, there's no guarantee of a late winner, but honestly, you could honestly look at either team. Denmark have beaten France twice this year. France are undeniably the better team. This is their like bogey team. This is the team they just cannot seem to be able to beat. I would imagine as soon as the draw was made, they were like, oh, God. Uncle Howdy, Bo Dallas, says Brandon. Cookie Kid on Fire said, is Bray going to be a part of War Games? Don't believe so. Unless they announce Bray LA Night match. There's been no Bray news. I do wonder if there might be something with Alexa. I do wonder that. But Going down the line. Here's France. Twisting, turning. Ball is running out of play. There was a news report on the radio that the atmosphere in Qatar is terrible. Ball being played by France, and it's cleared by Denmark. The atmosphere is terrible. Fans are not allowed to do anything outside of stadiums. Haven't really heard anything on that front, to be honest. I hope Denmark grabs a late winner to shock France, says Kieran. Come on, France, said Legend Killer. Argentina could do with some changes to the lineup. Martinez and Dybala probably replacing Martinez and Romero. Oh, just wide. Just wide. Just wide. Widey wide. Do you like my new profile picture? I can't see it, to be honest. What I can see is what's on screen, and I can't make it out. Is it Man United, maybe? Getting Man United vibes, maybe? It's going to be a Griezmann corner. Do you think you will ever fall out of love with wrestling and not watch it? I mean, I did... cleared. I haven't been out of love of wrestling, but I've gone through a period of not watching it. Ball whipped in, headed towards goal, and it's wide by France. Because of work. So, like, when I used to work in retail, staying up to watch Raw and SmackDown was quite often not possible because, you know, I'd have to be in early on a Saturday. So, like, watching like SmackDown or whatever was just not an option, and watching Raw was not always an option. The only good thing was I did tend to have Tuesdays off, so Raw was a bit easier to watch. But it was, yeah, I mean, it was, there was definitely a fair few shows over the years that I've not been able to watch. That wasn't because I fell out of love with it. It's just, it's called being an adult. Oh, overhead kick. Overhead kick, and it goes over from Rabiot. Rabiot puts it over the bar. Boom. It's a lovely effort. It's a lovely effort by Rabiot, but it goes over the bar. 10 minutes to go. 10 minutes to go. I'll always be here no matter what you're streaming. Love your enthusiasm, even for curling, says WWE fan LOL. I appreciate that. I do love curling. I don't know when the next Olympics are, to be honest. I think they're 2024. I want to say 2024. I think it's 2024. Don't know what we're going to do next year. There's no Olympics, no Winter Olympics, no Euros, no World Cup. Might as well have 2023 off. Right, ball is down the line. Being chased after by Denmark. Played into the middle. Oh, just wide. Oh, my God. That's a real opportunity for Braithwaite. Oh, my God. He's got to put that in. If that's on target, it's in. Actually, I say that. It might not have been. Hugo Lloris seems to have had it covered. Oh, my God. That was close. Would you say retail is good for someone to look to become less of an introvert? Yeah. Yeah, because you have to speak to customers. But what you say to customers is stuff that you say repeatedly all day long. So it's not really... At first, if you're an introvert, it's a bit, you know, like awkward. Hello, thank you for shopping here today. Did you find everything you was looking for? Scan, scan, scan. Do you know what I mean? Like at first, if you are really timid, then you might be a bit like that. But once you've served, once you've served people and you've got, you know it's not scary, and you're basically saying the same thing again and again and again and again and again, then, you start to get comfortable with it. And then, if anything, you actually start enjoying when someone asks you something different, to be honest. All of a sudden, then, if someone asks you and you go, oh, do you know what? I don't know that. Let me find out for you. And then, I feel like it's very good for an introvert. Very good. But like anything, that first step's going to be the scary step, isn't it? Go into a new place of work with new people and all of that. It's going to be the scary thing to do. But once you know the job, and trust me, I've worked with some idiots. I've worked with some idiots. So if they can do it, any of you can do it. Wrestle Andy said, "Is there points for man of the match in the league?" Do you know? I don't know. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Fantasy World Cupage. Let's have a look. We have got help. How to play. Facts. Yes. Facts. It's actually got no information on it. So that doesn't help, does it? I don't know. It doesn't have any information. It's just literally blank when you go to the website. If you go to the help section and click on facts, it's got no information. So I know that you get points for obviously scoring and assisting and keeping clean sheets, but don't know how you get if you get points for like man of the match. Who would have had a man of the match before? Do we think who would have been man of the match? Maybe Bellingham for England or Saka maybe. Let's have a look. Fixtures. So Bellingham got points for playing 90 minutes. He got 7 points for his goal, and he got a point for making 3 tackles. So you actually get points for tackles. You can get points for clean sheets. Nothing there for man of the match. Let's look at Saka, because Saka might have got it. Nope. Saka got 1 point for playing 71 minutes, and he got 14 points for 2 goals. So he didn't get man of the match in that first game. Neither did Bellingham. I don't think anyone else would have got it. It felt like it was between those two. So I'm leaning towards no. Valencia surely got it, didn't he, for Ecuador, because he scored 2 goals. So if there is man of the match, surely he got it for the first game. And he didn't. So 77 minutes, he got a point. 2 goals, he got 10 points. And that's it. He scored both the goals in Ecuador's 2-0 win over Qatar. He even scored a third that got disallowed. If there was a man of the match, it was him. And he didn't get any man of the match points. So, no, I don't think there is. Ball to the back. Oh, it's in! It's Mbappe! Oh, wrestle with Andy. Ball is played to the back post. It's put in. It's like what? Chested in, I think. It's Mbappe again. This guy is unstoppable. You're on track. Wrestle with Andy. There's still time. There is still time for the hat trick. If he gets injured, France are in trouble. That is his 14th goal in 12 matches for France. 14th goal in 12 matches. So it's back post. It's in, and I think it's an assist from Griezmann by the looks of it. Griezmann to the back post. He just gets a knee on it. It's not the sexiest of goals, but it doesn't need to be the sexiest of goals. So Mbappe in the, I think, 84th or so. And it looks like Griezmann with the assist, and that is 2-1 France. When is the time and date for USA game? Also, is Iran's goalkeeper still hurt? Don't know about Iran's goalkeeper. We can have a look. Iran goalkeeper. Iran will have backup keeper against Wales. Who is their keeper? Iran keeper Biranvand will miss the World Cup match against Wales with a concussion. I think that game is Tuesday. I'm sure it's Tuesday. I'm sure England play Wales on Tuesday, and the Iran game against USA is the exact same time. So 2 days ago, Biranvand returned with a face mask. So Iran's goalkeeper returned with a face mask. So he could be out, but he did return to training. But he was wearing a face mask. Come on, France, said Legend Killer. Do you think Alexa Bliss is going to turn heel? I don't know that she's going to turn heel. She might just walk away. But, yeah, it'll be all eyes on Alexa. And obviously there'll be all eyes on any, like, Bray logos or anything. It's coming home for Mbappe. I wonder what it's coming home is in French. Je suis la homme. 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 I don't even know what that is. I think je suis is I am. I am home. I don't know what. How do you think we'll line up against Wales? I don't know, to be honest, but I think that's a great question because I think we looked a bit leggy. I think we looked a bit tired. I don't know why, but it definitely feels like we need something fresh. So I don't know. I mean, to be honest, it'd be quite tempting to have, like, when Wales are getting a bit more tired at the end of the game, that's when you bring Saka on. So I actually think you might see some changes from England. I mean, there was a clamour for Foden, so you might be able to start Foden. And there was a clamour for Grealish, so maybe you start Grealish and Foden and you bring Sterling and Saka off the bench. So, yeah, I think it'll largely be... The defence will be the same, I think. I don't know that we go 5 at the back, but there is a thought that we could. That nearly translates to "I am a man." Oh, well, there we go. That's what Becky Lynch is saying then when she goes to France. Je suis la homme. Je suis la homme. I don't know why she's singing it to the tune of "It's Coming Home," but either way. Ball being played into the middle. Denmark are still battling away. Ball is... Oh, Mbappe's onto it. Takes a shot, and it's straight into the hands of Kasper Schmeichel. That was almost the hat-trick. Almost the hat-trick. Before doing YouTube, what job did you do, says Easy99. I worked in retail. I worked in retail for 15 years and really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. I worked in... Birmingham, I worked in Shrewsbury, I worked in Wolverhampton, I worked in Dudley, I worked in Ipswich, I worked in Milton Keynes, I worked in Southampton. I really did. I worked in several stores in Birmingham as well, so I really did get around a bit. But it meant that I saw bits of the country, I met lots of interesting people, made some good friends. It was really good. I mean... And I really enjoyed the job as well. So, yeah, I loved it. I loved it. I do not look back on my time with anything but affection. I absolutely loved it. And, yeah, it's obviously hard work. I mean, you know, the real world is hard work. But I think that's done me in good stead here because, you know, I'm not scared of putting in the hours and doing hard work. So that's why, you know, we do... stream all the time and do stuff all the time because I think I've got that background of, you know what I mean, putting in... I mean, I used to do, like, good 10-hour shifts. on a majority of my days. Which I know people have got it worse than that, but never afraid to put the work in. So yeah, loved it, really enjoyed it, and I'd recommend it for anyone thinking of getting into retail. Obviously, each shop's different in it. Each shop is different, but I worked in an entertainment store with DVDs and CDs and all of that stuff, and I love that stuff. So I think if you're working with anything that you love or in a job that you enjoy, it makes it so much easier. I've had jobs where you wake up and you're like, I just do not want to go to work, man. I do not want to go to work. And we all have that, but yeah, most mornings I'd wake up and be like, what's today gonna bring, and be up for it. 3 minutes left is what we've got. Denmark are on the ball. They're in France's half. Ball coming over to that right-hand side. Obviously, disappointment here for Denmark, but it's not the end of the world. They can still qualify. They just have got to get a result in their final game against Australia, but they needed that regardless. And the next game, so tasty. Argentina, Mexico coming up very soon. Final throws of this one. Why were you working at 6 years old? What kind of child labour laws do they have? That's true. I just wanted to get started early, to be honest. I just really wanted to get started early. And so I shunned child labour laws. These kids have it too easy. I tell you what, Denmark have got the ball here. Trying to whip it into the centre. It's cleared by France. Bounces, goes down the line. It's being chased after. It's been picked up. Mbappe's in the middle. Is it time for the hat trick? He's got Danish players around him. He does turn. He's still got the ball into Mbappe. It'd be, honestly, if this prediction comes true by Wrestle with Andy, that would be fire. Ball is being played back. We got a minute and a half on the clock. Minute and a half. Is there time for Denmark to get the ball and counter France? France are just passing it around. Just game management is what we've got, and it does feel like this is the end of the game, to be honest. I'm not sure that Denmark are going to get one more opportunity. Ball being played in the middle. No one in there. Picked up. Bouncing around. Hernandez. That ball going all the way back to the keeper, to Hugo Lloris. Down the left-hand side, there's a foul. Picks up the ball, though. Tries to cut in the middle. No joy. We literally got 40 seconds to go. Legend Killer says, come on, France. Yeah, I think they've got it. I don't think Denmark are going to get one more opportunity, but there was a couple of moments there where you're like, if they could just win the ball here, they might be able to counter them, but I think we're done, to be honest. I think we're done. I think we can start to turn our attention to Argentina, Mexico. Are we waving goodbye to Messi? Are we going to wave goodbye to Messi? It's honestly, if Mexico win, it's going to be a big shock, though. It's going to be a big shock. I don't think Argentina are out if they draw by any means. Ball being played forward. Denmark headed away. The ball goes out for a throw, I think. Is it a corner or... No, it's a throw. It's a throw. Bar is going to take the throw. He's going to have to hurl this into the box. I hope he's got a long throw on him. Here we go. It's a good throw, actually. It's right in there. Comes to the edge of the area. Shot. That's horrific. And that's it. And that's going to be it. Goes sailing over by Mailer. And it's going to end 2-1. Easy99 said, like The Rock always says, finally, France break the curse, champion of World Cup. Is that what The Rock always says? He always says that, does he? Wow. Well, he's called it. He's predicted it because it looks like they have. And there we go. The whistle has blown. Mbappe is looking on scintillating form. He really is. Kylian Mbappe on scintillating form. If they're going to win this World Cup, you've got to think that he has got to be fresh and playing. If he takes a knock, I don't know. I really don't know. I think they're a really good team, but Mbappe is absolutely the difference maker. 2-1. Right, we are done. I'm going to run away because we have got another game to get to. Argentina against Mexico. That game is coming up next. So a big thank you to everyone that joined us. Hope you enjoyed this action as the game came to an end. And we saw that Denmark unfortunately couldn't get it done. But France are through. They deserve to go through. It was a great performance by them. But let's see what Argentina and Mexico bring, because Argentina might be on the verge